he or she must.
Doing well. I've got a truly challenging class this year.
It's like when they have flu and they have 5 out. That's tough. I spent 18 years as a elementary principal. And one year, we had a class of 61 children, and it never ever got over 70. And our school is 2A, so there were 4 sections. But this was an anomaly. So we went to 3 sections.
Right.
Holy crap! When they tested in kindergarten, out of the 61, there were 56 eligible for Title.
So that's kind of what we got going on this year. We've only got 60, not quite 60 kids, the whole third, 3 of us. But 22 of them are significantly at 4th grade level below. And we're like, at the airport base too, we get kids coming from everywhere. And so we bought into these forms of, Singapore math, which, if you weren't there last year, you don't understand what any of the terminology means. So and I don't think you play with Singapore math at all.
Years ago, about 10 years ago, I wanted a set of their materials, and you had to buy them. Well, I wasn't going to do that. So, but being in this math group with Jeremy, several other people have talked about aspects of, and Singapore math has, from the time it first surfaced to now, has Americanized itself a tad.
Well, it would have to, and it's going to have to go a lot more if it's ever going to be a viable teaching source. It's so abstract.
But why is it so good for them and not good for us?
When I get people to understand, when I talk about this, there are genetics involved. I mean, people have to understand. There are genetics involved. There are people.
Well, I don't know that it's so much genetics as it is culture.
Well, I mean, obviously, I agree there's a lot to do with culture as well. I mean,
yeah.
Because they still believe in their kids need to go to school. But you can take a kid who comes and lives here, and has the same. I mean, the American father, I'd say the military, we get a lot, and the Asian student, 9 times out of 10, will just be excellent at math.
So you almost wonder if there is there's a propensity there anyway.
There's just something there that allows. And everyone's got. Anyone that's reasonable will look at certain segments of the population and realize they are really going to be good at this, and they are really going to be good at this, and you're going to have crossovers where everyone's. But just know that they have strength, and use those strengths. Don't try to force their method onto other people that doesn't work.
I've always been an everyday math person. I love everyday math. I always have.
I disdained everyday math. We tried it. So the same reason that I don't like this math office area, at least everyday math you could understand what they were talking about. The Singapore math where it's 57 plus 25, and you drop the 57 down to 50, then you add 50 and 25, you get 75, and then you have to go back and add the 5 back in, so you got 25 plus 50. So it's 30, so you can.
If I said we had a weakness anywhere in what we teach our kids, it would be that our kids don't get place value.
Place value is. I don't have a big problem with place value because I teach with a big monster abacus. I have a huge big abacus, and I teach my kids using that abacus.
But you're one. You're one. And you see that is I think that is the biggest issue at the elementary level that we have is that place value is tough and fractions. We have gotten away from the number line, and you can use a number line with fractions. I mean, there are so many techniques and strategies.
Fractions for money.
Oh.
It's the easiest way in the world to just give fractions and teach them money.
Yeah.
And then
that's true.
It absolutely, And I've had colleagues that argue with me about it, and they're like, well, no, you know, money is this, and you should use it. And I'm like,
A fourth is a fourth.
let's just see how
Yeah.
our grades, how our
Yeah.
scores come out.
But my comment is, why would we limit any strategy? Why would we limit any strategy when it takes, we've got a multitude of learners.
That's it.
So we've got to have a multitude of strategies.
Well, see, that's the thing that with Singapore math, there are some kids that I have no doubt that it works really well with. But the majority, it does not.
Well, I pulled some, I bought a couple of materials from them, and I thought, hey, there's some pretty cool stuff here, but no.
Well, it's just like the front-end estimation, something that they created on their own, front-end estimation. And they expect you to teach this front-end estimation to your third graders. Well, front-end estimation says you just go up the first number. So 999 rounds to 900. It's illogical. I mean, there's no sense in it. You said they got 2 strand 5, right? They didn't get 3 strand.
That they did not get through. We're about maybe we got through the first number, 1, and all the way through 5th grade, through kindergarten through 5. And we might be ready for 2.
I'll just highlight all the words, so EPs and IEPs.
What grabs me is that I have my copy of, there they are. There they are. I think one of the big things down the road that this group is going to have to look at is that alignment between the groups.
Between them?
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's going to be a biggie. I mean, you're wrong.
I don't think it's, and again, I might be completely wrong on this, but I don't feel like that how they choose to do theirs. And I know there are some people that are worried about, those little school districts that have K-12 in the building and you don't have 2 completely different heights and 2 different things. I don't see it as being a problem. But I mean, this is just strictly my personal thing, because I have never, in 25 years, worked with the middle school to see where they're at, other than them telling us that, something like that, hey, we need more scientific process, they need to have better trust with that. I still think that the elementary is and should be your building stones, and basically should be where you grow from. You understand things, and you can do that. Obviously, we want to problem solve and do those things as well. But
I think it's working, Jen. Okay, so has that? Yeah. No. I just don't want to shut it off. So you want to non-stop? When do you want to start?
9 o'clock.
Oh.
So I was really early.
Gotcha. I was wondering, maybe it's just going to be you two.
Well, we've got one of our, because the district just said they couldn't release her anymore. And there's Ann Wallenmeyer, and I'm not sure Julia Williams is going to be able to make it up. That's what Harry heard.
I'm very sure I think she's.
So we've got some folks that are having some conflicts. Uh-oh.
No, I think it's fine.
Okay, just
Because I tested
Control Alt Delete.
Cool, and then the password,
And then the
capital
password.
P at SSWRD1.
I'll write that down.
It's on that. It's on all that paperwork.
I know.
Um,
I just really.
When you stop it at lunch, but it seems to be all the computers are doing this automatic lockdown, so I don't know why.
Isn't that funny?
Make sure it's in the right room.
All right, holler if you need
All
something.
right, thank you, Jerry. I will holler. You have that, my friend, under control. In fact, you will even be able to hear me. How are you, Elizabeth?
I'm all right, and you?
I am fine.
Good. Harry, how was the Boy Scout?
Very, very good.
Wonderful
Money,
news.
big money.
Excuse me, Dad. Oh, excuse me, thank you.
That made our year's budget. over that week, so.
Wonderful news. I love everything the Boy Scouts do and promote.
You get a good set of leaders in there. And then
We had a gentleman in our area, and he's kind of stepped out of it, but his nephew and stuff has taken over at Dr. Tony in town. He's taken our kids on Canadian trips, and he has a cabin in Colorado. He's taken them out there, and they raise their money and go, but
Sure.
the things they've learned, wow. And so many Eagle Scouts.
Hello, Miss Ann.
Hey, how are you?
Is your partner in crime gonna make it? Miss Beverly?
Yes, I'm sorry, I thought you were speaking to me, and I had my hand down. I was sitting here trying to contemplate who's her partner and trying to figure it out, you know?
I know.
We drove separately this time, but Beverly is on her way. She went and stayed at her mother's.
Oh.
Her mom has one of her places is at Lori, Missouri, out by the lake.
Really?
And so Beverly took her kids to spend time with Grandma.
How much stinking fun.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than Granny's.
The camera is on and it is red.
Oh,
So everybody knows.
Thank you for the heads up.
Just not that anyone say anything
Right.
that you don't want, but just in case.
Just in case, it's better safe than sorry, correct?
Is that bad?
No.
I screw up my computer back, 'cause then I know where it's at.
Then no one else is claiming her identity.
Exactly.
I've been with someone to claim my identity for a while there.
We have new badges at church, and our name is on the front badge, and I help with children's church, so my name is on it. But if the badge flips over, there's no name, and I said, don't know who I am today.
You know, I am so glad to hear that because our church, we live in a small community,
Uh-huh.
and we had a Methodist church in Piedmont and Patterson, which are 13 miles apart maybe.
Uh-huh.
And we closed both those churches and consolidated, it's been, I don't know how many years ago. And it's really halfway through, literally, and it's huge. And, I mean, our population is just growing, but one of the things we did is we wear name tags, and that's very foreign concept in a small community to go to church and wear a name tag. And I've never heard of any other church that done that. So to hear you say that is nice. I mean, I get it because
We put name tags on the children, and the
everybody
parents
does.
have the name tags, and they have, so when they come get the children from children's church, name tag on their tag, better match the name
Right.
tag on the children.
We do the buzzers
Yeah,
with the ID numbers
Yeah.
and stuff for that.
because it's got allergy stuff, and it's got all kinds of health information and all that kind of good stuff.
I'm really excited to get where you just shake. That's it, nothing. And have you already started thinking about when we can meet again?
My problem is that my husband just moved to Arkansas during the week. So really, whatever date you come up with, I'm gonna have to run through him.
Well, I was talking to her just a little bit ago, I don't know how you guys feel about Christmas break. We've got a huge Christmas break. We have like 2.5 weeks for Christmas this year.
Hey, everybody.
I don't know if anyone would be willing to.
This
Fine,
church makes
fine,
our
right.
lives a little better.
And
I need some
just,
educators.
just
to
FYI,
talk about having to get some.
the camera's on because it's been going haywire, so it's off.
I just try to look at things.
I'm gonna,
Literally, we're off from.
Oh, it doesn't matter, whatever you volunteer for our stuff.
on this one.
Well, I never thought to ask if you wanted something.
Sometimes days that the majority would.
Oh, I'm bad.
You guys want to
Down
go
here,
to
I find it hard to get here.
Okay, good deal.
Thank you, I got cut colors.
I know, I was.
Thank you. Thank you.
When you're always here.
Right. new daughter?
I mean, obviously, we gotta talk.
Holly's here shopping, your new daughter, and that's what she said, yes, since January. Oh,
That sounds even what we feasible to use.
It's possible depending on the day.
Last.
I have a family coming, some family coming, but of course they won't be there the whole time.
Right, well, I mean, I was kind of assuming we were looking to get that week after Christmas, like the 29th.
Which I was going to Arkansas that week. And I may not be able to come, so we'll just have to see, yeah.
And I said, I mean, for that matter, we look at even Thanksgiving week. I don't know if everyone's got family already coming in at that time too.
I definitely can't do Thanksgiving. I'd be more likely to be able to do Christmas rather than
And only I'm just trying to figure out is days that the school district are gonna do up days. And
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
So we have a day in November, deer season, that we're out for.
Really?
It's a Monday, first day of deer season.
Catsville does
The
first day trout.
deer season is actually deer season.
Well, on a Saturday, true. It's the first Monday.
Because
So-
we go
Yes.
shopping on weekend, my mother and so we take Friday off and so on and see what start shopping. The guys go up to hunt.
Yeah.
We go hunt other things. We actually start our Christmas shopping that
One year, we went to Branson and did that, and I took my mother-in-law, my husband's great aunt, and my son's great aunt, and we had a grand time.
weekend. It's just our girls' weekend. And so we, now my daughter's 14 now, but when she was little, like 5, 6, 4, when she could see the camouflage coming out of the store, she'd start talking about her shopping.
Oh,
Because she knew
Cute.
that that's when we went shopping. Oh, we're gonna go shopping soon.
Oh, jeez.
You wanna buy it?
No.
I wish I had ordered that quiche, that looks wonderful.
She says it tastes really good.
Does it?
That's what
Quiche is one of my
Yeah.
favorites. I love to make a spinach and bacon one at home. Oh, yeah, and anything else that's suitable and out of the
Now,
refrigerator for spinach.
I do for a grab and go, I call them individual quiches, but they don't have any crust. I make them, with just protein. And I make them in the silicone cupcake
Oh.
holders because they come
They
off,
come-
they don't
they
pull half the egg off with it. And I make like a batch on Sunday, and then I've got them, and I can pop them in the microwave, and I put a little cheese on my stuff, and then I put the egg in there, bake them for about 20 minutes, and I can pop them in the microwave for 30
That's
seconds.
a good idea. That's good protein in the morning.
It is excellent protein.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure. I'll get one here. I'll get one we can pass around with that.
You looking for a plug-in? There's also one in the middle floor.
Oh, that's it.
Is that right?
Yes.
Across the way.
Yes.
Here, a wall.
Oh, I just saw it. There it is. Here we go.
There are more plugins here than I think there were in the big room.
Yeah, it's,
I'm amazed.
It was challenging.
That was challenging. That comes.
Bob, you ever say that Mike,
Oh, the
the
camera's
camera's already on, just so you know.
Yeah, thank
In my new office, since we
you.
were
Voice singing, I guess,
You want to see them, you just.
We have all kinds of plugins because I was in the oldest part of the building.
Oh, and now I'm in the next one.
And I have like 2 data lines. It was just absolutely amazing. It's the little things in life that excite a person.
It seems like every job that I took, the office that I left, the minute I left, got upgraded. And instead of one person, there were 2 people to do the job. And
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, there's no justice in that.
Did you get your webcam set up? Are you good?
Yes,
Okay.
but you might want to check on it from time to time. Check on me from time to time, sweetheart.
I will come check on you, Jean.
You are, yeah, I love you, Stephanie. You rock, baby.
Hey, I just wanted you to know I got all of my stuff filled in for SBU. It's all filled out, sent in.
Hey.
She's teaching, she teaches at Republic. She teaches-
No, I know that, but it's.
Oh, she doesn't, well, she's gonna get her doctorate.
Good for her.
Oh, good for her. That's good. You doing a doctor now?
In what?
Listen to Anna.
Oh, I don't want administration.
I don't, and now this is maybe curriculum too.
Not why not.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I didn't know SBU.
I didn't either. That's where I got my undergrad.
Okay, this might not be your seat.
That's
Ooh,
where
I
I
love
got my
that.
undergrad.
Because Steph wants curriculum. She
forgot
wants
what I was.
administration.
Amelia.
Good girl.
It isn't?
No, she sent it around with this.
Okay.
Oh, I have David's notebook.
You're in.
I
I mean,
did.
there are like pages in
All right, let's
it.
wait for the next one.
There you go.
Thank you, Mom.
I mean, this is how he does it.
That's Scott.
Because I know
That's
mine.
his on napkins and such.
David's is like, what the heck is this?
I don't know. Plain?
It looks like Darth Vader to me, kinda.
Looks like his and Dawson's
Guys.
project.
My grandsons, we're trying to, we have a patio, but it's not what I, of course, after we do it, it's not what I want. I want something totally different. And my husband hates mowing around certain sections of it, so that's another reason for it to change. So I sat down with my 10-year-old grandson, and we started drawing. And it is amazing, guys, what he is able to see and say, now, Grammy, you need to think about this, and if a fire pit's here, you need to think about this, and have you thought about this? And I am thinking, you are, I just am amazed. It is. You guys, it is.
When my Alexander was in kindergarten, when she's in 4th grade now, I'll never forget. He come home and he said, now Dad, I have the plans for the tree house. I still have them saved, you guys see them all drawn out. Has a kitchen and everything, you know. And then Scott said, oh, well, those are some really good blueprints. He said, those are white prints? Because it was a white paper.
That's good.
He was in kindergarten, I was rolling.
Well, Amelia and Dawson, who are 3 and 5, got in an argument last week because she was saying she was gonna make blueprints. And Dawson said, no, you aren't, sis. You cannot make blueprints. Someone else has to do it. She's 3, but she wants to call her drawings blueprints.
Right.
Isn't that funny? If you just listen to what they say, it's just,
I mean, he lines her out and she takes it.
She won't for
I can't, I know she won't. I can't believe it, my granddaughter.
Well, she's all great for a long time. She's just happy-go-lucky. Whatever he wants to do, she's like a little duck. Yeah, and then it goes off the rails, and then you can bet she's gonna get her way.
Anybody else want to plug in inside here while I'm in here?
I'm okay, but thank you.
Yeah, she was helping Grandma make breakfast.
Oh, what did you have for breakfast?
She was making pancakes.
I bet pancakes. That's a standard.
That is, isn't it? Although if you're my son, the grandma says bacon.
Well, I was teaching my mom how to do
I got a question.
bacon
Yeah.
in the oven.
On this,
Oh, yeah.
on this copyright, it says only in common core for the purposes of the support the common core standard issues. And I don't have that, but if you're not supporting the common core initiative, do they still need your permission to use their stuff?
That was one of the things we sent in as a question, and I don't know if we ever
Well,
got.
this is, I guess, the response for that. I'm just curious, because it says, you can use common core for purposes that support common core standard initiative. And you are not in support. You're not
Well, what's
supporting.
the initiative?
That's what I say, no, but
To
I would,
increase the rigor of reading
that's
and
what
writing?
yeah.
I would think the common core standard initiative would be to get common core into, and I don't know.
I think it's to increase the rigor of reading and writing.
So did you do, what time did you get here?
I mean, we know it doesn't affect us, I'm just curious about it.
I understood it to be that if there was something in the Common Core curriculum that we wanted to keep,
Sure.
there are some good things about it that they could use those pieces. That's how I understand it.
Well, Next Generation, when you look at them, they also have a crosswalk with ELA and math. So and which makes, it's a nice piece for teachers to see that connection and how they're linked together with the ELA.
Did anyone go to the link that you talked about in there, the resource piece?
Yeah, I just saw her get out of her car on the sign.
Do you have a letter
Trying
from
to see what it
Lydia?
said,
Is that
common
or
core
from
and by
the
child.
Desi? Is that what
Yeah,
it
that's,
is?
I gave it, that's my copy.
Okay, it says in there, you can go to the total link. Yeah, they've taken a small part out. When did that come out?
I got one from,
Last week?
I got this one from Nina Green.
Yeah, on the
What's all the
sunshine.
copyright on sunshine and all that.
Oh,
Why am I not getting that?
Well, I sent her my email because I didn't know if she was giving it to,
This
You-
this I never got from her, so I didn't.
okay,
I
like to
came
the
Thursday the 16th.
chairs coming out, I don't know when mine
So what was the verdict on the sunshine?
It's a long explanation here.
Well,
What's the gist?
Basically is we have to follow sunshine, so we can't meet on conference calls or if we have a meeting, then we have
Has
to
to be
be
posted
and taped and all that jazz. So the concept is, I mean, we can do a little bit of we can't collaborate, we can do a little bit of looking online. But like you couldn't decide,
Could make
if you're gonna meet at McDonald's and talk about it, that's. Now, we also have to be record and public invited. We don't have to meet in Jeff City. Right. But we have to
Could
meet.
can we record a Skype session?
I think the law is pretty gray. I mean, we might talk to them, but.
See, that's the kind of stuff they're gonna have to address to catch up to the world we're in.
Well-
Because of the sunshine.
Right.
law, and somebody will have to take it.
Yeah, exactly, it'll have to go
It's a
through
gray area.
till there's the case law on it.
Because you have to allow people also to sit in, so you would have to
See,
allow
but
them
if
to
they could have
speculate
a,
at that point.
that's what I mean, or if they had if we had like a designated place where one of us was as the meeting place,
Like an ITV course thing, is that what
where
you're
they
saying?
could be, and then.
We could post the Skype
That's what I was wondering.
on Desi's website, so if they wanted to join us, they
The K-5 group?
No, I'm looking for secondary history.
History?
Yeah, social studies.
And you're in the governor's office building?
Okay.
There's some downstairs.
Yeah, they're
History is
downstairs,
downstairs.
right across from the
There's stuff in
cafe.
the lobby
They look like they're in a
make
glass
signs.
room, like they're on display.
Okay,
It's capital P, Amber.
Okay, well,
I
it's in
think I
room
missed
four
one.
six six.
Oh, it's
Oh.
Yeah, 9 o'clock.
First time we've been in.
This is on
Yeah, we don't have
What's the website
facilitators in
then?
there.
It was a,
Okay.
That
I
might
think
be
that's
the very
right,
first-
have some.
that might be the very first one, because our records were before that.
Okay.
We'll make a little up on the website, see what pages, or what.
I
know history downstairs.
I think they're in those last rooms.
Okay.
Underneath.
I saw-
Yes, that's where I think we are.
Okay, thank you guys. Good luck. Okay, so do you want us to check and see if you get Skype?
oh, I don't know, I mean, I think.
I don't know, I don't know how this, I don't know how it works.
I know we keep asking the same question, but it's like we keep getting this answer that is not really an answer every time we ask it.
We asked about Skype, but they said that we asked if we could Skype, and they said we'd have to follow sunshine laws. So the last time, it seemed like, I can't remember. Who's the lady that was assistant?
Chris?
No.
Julie.
Julie and Alec said, that's not gonna work.
Here-
Skyping won't fit into what sunshine law says.
Here's what Nina sent out. Is this what you got, Perry?
Who's Nina?
Nina
From
Dean,
She's per bar. Yes. Meeting location must be accessible to the public and the room must be sufficient size. If the meeting is by conference call, the public should be allowed access by speakerphone to the agency's main office. Minutes of the meetings must be made and maintained. These minutes must include the date, time, place, members present, absent, record of any votes taken.
We would send it to Desi and they'd post it on the, what does it say about the agency?
what number is that?
It was number 5.
Any location must be accessible to the public and the room must be sufficient in size to accommodate anticipated audience. The attending, if the meeting is by conference call, public should be allowed access to by speakerphone at the agency's main office.
So Desi's main office.
Now, this isn't coming from.
I totally get
I don't know if Dave, this
We
isn't
would
for
have
Desi.
to have, okay, so we'd have to have Bear set up a room here
And turn
with a
on that.
speakerphone, with a speakerphone. And then they would have to have a person here, which he said he would do whatever we needed him to do to make this happen. Then they would have to get a room reserved and they would have to have a
For the
speakerphone
public.
for the public to come here.
And the law appointed the school board to take care of this, and the school board appointed Desi to
Yes.
facilitate.
So that's
it.
right.
I'm assuming that that's the agency too.
It would be the-
That would be my guess, but if
It's
it's
gonna be
not,
on their website too.
if it's not Desi, then Bear can set up something in the bowels of
So it
the.
really is officially the state board, but it's just like with your superintendent.
Right, they're gonna
Appointed, yeah.
So Desi or whoever would be the agency, and so as long as they have some forum where people can come, then we can do that.
And that we've let them know, let the public know.
It has to be
24
posted.
hours ahead.
Yes.
Also, they have some kind of form they're going to bring around to us for you to report out.
Well, see, that's what, this came from, it's got,
From who?
this Nina Dean,
Okay,
October 16th, she sent this out. This was the end of last week, and I didn't get to it, she sent me afternoon, I was already doing parent teacher conferences.
then there may be two forms.
But see, this isn't really a form, this just tells all the things she wanted to have, or that they wanted to have in the document. And I was asking her, because there's several people who said they're no longer a part of it, and one of the things that it says, people who have worked on the committee, people who are assigned to the committee. And so,
Anybody can come speak, and you get free time to speak.
I was talking about their,
Anyone in the group.
anyone.
Anyone, period.
Anyone, period.
Yes, any of you guys.
Oh, are we talking about two different things though? We're
Oh,
talking
you're
about
talking
the
about
public
this Monday.
meeting, and this is,
What are you talking
Nina sent us template too that says what's expected in those monthly reports to the Senate and the House.
about? That's this public, okay, so maybe they're two different reports.
I think
I don't know,
they're
that's-
two
I'm not
different
sure.
things.
Because this one is called a public meeting next week.
Mhm.
Right.
So what is that called? What's she called it?
This just says typical to report to Speaker of the House.
Yeah, we're supposed to report, there's supposed to be the public meetings and then a report made to the.
Hello, we've been waiting on you.
Yeah, there's a monthly report for legislators and the state board of ed.
Certain ones.
I'm just sitting here signing.
Do we have a projector?
We ordered one.
And we did not get it, so, we did not get it.
It's not in any of the stuff.
No.
Do I need to get one?
We'll call.
Don't you think it helped?
Oh, I do.
Tremendous.
I'll call them later. We put it on the supply list.
Nothing bad.
You driving this morning?
Yeah, but I accidentally went to 201 West Cabot, which is the big,
Okay, because that's where my GPS led me. I'm like,
yeah, so
Yeah.
I went all the way to the Capitol building, so I finally found someone and said, I can't find 460. It's like, yeah, no,
Oh, no.
Oh, jeez.
When I was election, I walked in, there was like, the room number was 409 on the page, or 209, whatever it was, it was like 290. Yeah, like, now there's a building.
We're not
It's
gonna-
right here, right here.
Wait, we were just going over
I saw a
the
little map by the Capitol.
sunshine deal, so what we think that we have figured out,
We can read by phone.
yes, but we have to have a designated
Line for them to.
But I don't know, my thing about meeting my phone is I don't know how effective it will be,
I got a little bit of.
Well, you need to have a plan
but that's what I'm saying, okay,
by tomorrow afternoon, probably, so we can post it and
you keep that one, too.
how you're gonna,
go forward.
yeah.
Sorry.
Well, we've already started, we've been trying to talk about it, but we're not, trying to get dates.
And then other options, we don't have to meet here is, I mean, I know we're from all over the place, but like for Beverly and I, it's 3 hours pretty much a lot of places we go. So, if you say St. Louis, Springfield, I'm there, no big deal.
Kansas City.
Kansas City would be a stretch,
But
but
it's a lot more fun.
yeah, I'll do it. I mean,
But,
if
yeah.
you
It might be better.
We'll make sure there's jazz barbecue.
Okay.
I would love to set up in Springfield.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just as close for me to come to Springfield, and it's a better drive.
Yeah.
We're
I was
not
trying-
far from anywhere.
And Stan.
The standing
Where
orders,
Stan is.
I mean, I didn't know if that was an option, if that would help people as far as,
See, I'm on the, I mean, I'm about 50 miles from Kansas City, I'm about 80 miles from here, so it doesn't make it.
It's a little closer for you to come here.
Yeah.
Do people
No, it's
have,
actually, Kansas City's quicker, a lot quicker for me. to get to
how far
Kansas
is
City.
Springfield?
Springfield's about the same, it's about the same.
I thought you were about the same.
White Air Force Base is like kind of out there in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere.
My family was in
Either
Warrenburg.
direction, well, it's.
Yeah,
we're
yeah, I've been there,
50
yeah.
miles from.
Right.
you know, we can also, try, you know, video conferencing, you know, if you wanna do that.
I'll
You know,
vote for that too.
The folks have, you know, Gmail accounts, and you can log into, you know, Google Hangouts, and you can do video conference, that all of us who participate, and we can also.
We talked about that, you can only have, what's the number?
10.
10? I think you've gotta be able to, and I don't know, I'm not, I don't act like I'm the hero at all, but I think you have to have enough, at least for the people that's on your committee to report to.
That's not a problem, yeah, but if that means at least two have to come together, you know, us two have to come together.
Yeah, we could meet in smaller groups, I guess.
And again, I just don't know how effective that will be as far as trying to get all this stuff done.
Well, for sure, if people did homework of some kind, it would sure be effective to bring it back together and say, this is where I am with it, and see.
I guess we could try it once, and if it doesn't, and then have another full group meeting after that. We got time.
Yeah, especially coming into the holidays, you know, I don't do holidays, so if y'all want to meet on the 25th of December, I'll be there.
Well, see, that's what we were talking about a minute ago, because
Weather gets.
everybody's got 2 weeks of Christmas time. I mean, most people that are in schools have 2 weeks of Christmas time. But
I
since
don't, I
everyone
work
going-
12 months.
Oh,
So the only time I have off is Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So, but I,
can't find a new job.
oh,
But
but with that said, my district supports me being here.
Yeah.
So they're gonna
And see
let
that-
me come on a work day.
And my school will as well, I mean, so far they've not had any issues at all. And I just don't know how many more days they'll allow me to take off.
So I'm not
So I
opposed
was
to
just
doing
signing up
over
on
break
it.
a couple days. I just know I have some plans that are already in the works.
Sure.
That
And
I
that's
may
well, and that's-
not being here, so.
But, yeah, trying to do video conferencing, it's gonna be a hot mess initially.
Stan will not be
Everybody-
here. He has a board meeting tonight.
But once everybody's on, yeah, we can try it out, you know, if it works, it works, if it doesn't, we're going for it.
Yeah, I said I was trying to lease the space.
This, came
Right.
out and has about, mine's just looked at,
I'm sorry?
because this is to work group participants, and I emailed her back and said, did this go to all of you guys? And she said it went to everybody she had.
No. This did not come to me, I never saw this.
So
She
anyway,
had me covered, this is one.
one of the points, it says, please note that there are public meetings and therefore subject to the sunshine law that requires 24 hours public notice. Contact the office for additional support on posting the notice. The law also requires that media and the public have access to listen or attend. The individual work group is responsible for compliance with sunshine laws. So as long as they can
And you can make the.
have access to
Yeah,
it.
you can make the hangout button so that people can watch the hangout, even if they can't participate.
Even if they were in the room, they wouldn't.
Right, they can't. We would have, you guys would have to allow them.
Right. So if they can watch, and give the email address, that is, want to participate.
And that's
send
kind of
email.
what the sunshine law is. There's no surprises. They have access to it. And, time. And then I would suggest you still have it. some minutes.
yes. So I think that's part of,
Well, I asked them that this morning, and they said they strongly want this. And they still a lot of people watch the news.
That's the part I was curious about.
yeah. I know our superintendent is,
Do that.
We think about a lot of other things.
So, bored.
I mean, I wouldn't even rewatch it. I was here.
Right, definitely not. Hey, you all fabulous, but you got my point out.
the lady that helped ride the Common Core.
Or is it Michigan or?
Should be
Oh,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Should be here tomorrow from 1
Who's gonna be here?
today. Let me.
She was supposed to be here today, I mean, that's why they
I
said they
thought
were
it
gonna
was
be here.
tomorrow.
Or
She'll be
that's
in
why
Springfield Wednesday night.
Jamie said she was.
It was a lady that has written against.
Why the Common Core doesn't
prepare. She was gonna sit on the Common Core to help write it, and she got out of it because she said it's really bad. And she's supposed to see here. Yeah, she'll be in there.
I thought tomorrow.
Not here, but in the city.
In the county.
Yeah, I think she's coming around all through.
Oh, really?
She's come around to talk to her?
I've got to be the dumbest person on the planet. What set of standards can you come up with that are going to be that destructive to children?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Oh, I'll have a projector.
You were just going on the way.
I have candy in the car.
I have trail.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Spatsky, is that who you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, we have a PowerPoint.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yes, folks,
There is, in the floor, you can still.
just so that you all know, the video, well, it may be not working because it's flipped out again, so.
The light is on, but nobody's home.
Yes,
That means still running or not?
Did we get the, is that the extra laptop? No, that's the video laptop.
yeah.
Here, I'll find it.
Now.
We were asking earlier, what is a quorum? Yes,
Quorum
she is right here,
That's
4
okay.
seconds. That's a quorum?
Well, but we
No,
don't
the
have
quorum
a
is
full
half
six,
full, but it's not full, that's one.
we don't have a full 16 appointed, so can't we go from how many are appointed?
That's. My knowledge of this is,
You know, I think you can move ahead and do what you've been doing, but then when more get here, then you need to vote on it. So I think you can continue your work.
I'm assuming you work, I mean, I really think we could work with 4 people. It's just we come out in the end, when we actually say, this is what the committee decides,
Then they need-
that's when we have to have everybody here.
And I think in order to, you're going to have to have 90.
And for the end, for like an end product,
What's the argument I make?
Except for, can we make the argument that all of our positions have not been filled?
Yeah, I mean, if they're.
I don't know, that's,
So, I serve on the school board. Here's how it works with the school board. Everything takes a simple majority unless state law says otherwise. But if state law says otherwise, so for example, if I want to sell a building, it takes a 2/3 majority. So on my board, I've got 9 members, so I need 6 people to pass that. Even if 2 people have resigned from the board, but we currently only have 7 members, we still need 6.
Okay, that was, okay.
that's exactly, I'm very sure that's the way this is as well. So there's 16 members totally on this. Well, I say that, but then again, I say there are some that were never appointed.
Never
Right,
appointed
there's like-
to start with.
But they're in the
There-
law.
there was
there's-
never a
like the
position.
Speaker of the House was supposed to have, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We don't get to use that as an excuse.
He's got 4 of them, he only got 3 of them in here. So I'm assuming that number will still count, but we have to have
Yeah.
the number.
Yeah.
So that even though numbers are there, it's still
Right.
16. That's what I would assume,
Right,
but I don't like to assume.
I know.
But if we operate on that, then we will surely have met the requirement.
I know some of them voted to use Robert's rules. I think that's where the definition of majority is.
I didn't know what happened the first day, that's what we decided.
You really didn't talk about
We
it.
didn't decide on
Robert's
those
rules.
rules. We decided that we were adults and professional and we would play nice.
And you guys.
Surprisingly, we were.
I hope the video's not on.
It's a fact, though. I mean, it's a fact. It is a-
Jamie wasn't gonna be here today. Chris has had to step down now.
If we start, maybe we can talk her into it if we have a next meeting by.
It's her district. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, see, that's why I was kind of hoping that we could find a
Because
date
it's-
when people are out in
Yeah,
school.
it's because,
Or-
but she said she'd review for us.
Well, and with Chris's situation, a lot of it was the expense to her district wasn't wanting to pay her mileage and.
Oh, my district, they laughed when I said my Or parking, I was like, $6 a day.
I had to cross the toll bridge this morning,
Ooh, did you?
Toll bridge?
the latest day when
Oh, yeah. Oh, they do a toll bridge.
How much is the toll bridge?
$3.
walking around your
Oh,
glorious
no.
city. I'm Joanne Cleese.
Oh,
hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
I'm sure sorry.
You just find a
I
place.
got here early.
Oh, you're fine. We haven't really
We're
started
still
anything.
figuring it out.
Good.
Lots of discussion.
Okay, great.
Yeah, good. Some people just got here, so you're fine.
We were just kind of, well, that makes sense.
Taking inventory of everyone. Another person here.
Mr. West is stuck with the computer, so we'll be able to see what we're even talking about.
Here, I'll give you the sign, and you want us to kind of, should we tell her while she's?
From the school, she said.
She
No,
said,
she's
she
not
said,
with us.
knitting with them.
This is what I thought it was.
She's out of June. I just finally got to come.
Well, why don't we go around and introduce ourselves to her while she's. Yeah.
Oh, it's Joanne Cleves.
Yeah.
Right.
And
The one that I put earlier.
I'm Ann Hollenmeyer, and I work with K-12 science curriculum in Springfield, Missouri. Oh, okay, great.
I'm Jan Van Gogh, and I'm a note taker.
Okay,
So I have
okay.
no vote, no voice, just a
Okay,
note taker.
okay,
And I'm Bonnie Faber, and I'm a facilitator, and I'm the same roles as her.
okay,
So,
okay.
I'm Bob Rassel, I'm the Jefferson College Physics and Engineering.
I'm Kelly Baldwin, I'm here representing parents, and I'm here in Springfield. I'm Melissa Chadbourne, and I'm currently the instructional coach for a K-4 building in Piedmont, Missouri.
And I'm Beverly Peters, I'm here as a parent, and I'm a chiropractor and advanced science degree.
Okay.
There's Perry Duncanson. I teach third grade for the last, taught third grade for the last 25 years at Whiteman Air Force Base. And then community space, so.
Okay.
Eric?
My name is Eric Leonard West. I live in Kansas, Missouri, where I serve on the school board.
Great. I'm Joanne Cleese. I work in River Garden School District. I am the K-5 science facilitator at our school, science fair coordinators, and all that kind of stuff. And I teach second grade for the past 18 years. Wow, wonderful.
Yay.
Welcome. Glad to have you. I know Jack very well.
Jack Weeders is one of my
Jack
very
Weeders?
best. I also was,
Yeah.
he's one of my very
Yeah.
good.
Is he still? I haven't
Right.
haven't talked to him in a while.
He was in the RISE program. I was also in that.
He's not married.
Did we get married in? Oh, that's great. That's great.
June, where's June?
June.
That's just,
Yeah, where's
She
June?
was not going to be here. She said something, I may be mistaken, but I think she said she might not make either dates. So,
She's a superintendent too, there's
she's
a lot of
assistant
board
super
stuff.
now.
yeah.
We knew Alex was gonna have some trouble with work, so I was able to make it go.
I thought Joey said she was going to try to make tomorrow.
She, I have not, I remember getting an email from her like 2 weeks ago, but I'll be honest, like I said, the last 2 weeks have been, last week was our parent-teacher conference week, and
Enough said.
10 other things that we had going on. So my best friend's getting married, I'm doing all the cooking for his wedding.
Oh, wow. And did you say Jamie?
And Jamie
Jamie,
looks like she's not gonna be today.
because she was going to the
State board meeting.
public
She's gonna try to do
forum,
the public forum.
and she
Next
couldn't
week.
like do both, it was just too
And
much.
you thought Alex had to work.
She wasn't, yeah, that's what she said last time, I think, she wasn't sure if she could get off work.
The last 2 days she got off, she wasn't sure she could get off these two.
And you said we do not have to appear at that public forum, we can just send a letter.
And that's
Because I would
what,
rather save a day.
and that's what they're bringing around, the form, and then I'm asked for it electronically.
But I got all stuff, and we can, I can write better, so we do, I just want to make sure we put everything in that needs.
Well, and she strongly suggested that we get that done before the end of the day tomorrow, projected, so everybody kind of
Okay.
knows it. And it would be done, plus they need it far before that meeting. You
They
know,
don't like ours.
they want it earlier.
Right.
Whoever we're sending it
And I assume it's, like I said, I see what it's mean and mean.
to. No, it's to the state. I don't know, we'll find out who,
Not too great.
Yeah, she's just the legislative assistant for R.
Right.
so it may go to him too.
Oh, you know what, another thing I do, it is what it's asking, is also please send out just a template for the monthly report to Speaker of the House and President Pro Tem. Yeah, we need to know, I need to have to, I need to know all the
Does somebody want to catch her up on where we are, what we've done?
Well, currently, and when this group started, we started talking about how we wanted to approach the science. And we agreed that we thought the GLEs we had in the state of Missouri was a good foundation. They just obviously need to be revamped, increase the rigor, increase the engineering side of it. And so we started with that as our skeleton, and we've been adding to that we've gone through each individual strand, and we are addressing every single strand by strand, grade level by grade level, starting in 5th grade, working our way backwards on it. And currently, I did not get the very last meeting, but I understand you guys spoke all the way through to the 5th strand, is that right? And partway through the 5th
We
strand,
need
but
to
I
start
don't
with
know.
Bob, right? Do we need to start with you?
That'd be great.
Yes, we did, because he was gonna
Yeah,
go
we
back
gotta go back
Had
to
some
the
revisions from the beginning, on the
Oh,
first
oh,
on
one.
the physics components. He went back and looked at previous work weeks.
And who
I
has
wasn't
it
good for today.
electronically?
It's all on Google Docs.
Because we need to get her.
Yeah.
our
Do you have a Gmail address?
It won't take long.
And I need to get with you on that, because only I gotta come up on with my phone, and I can't seem to find it on
And I
my
couldn't get it, I couldn't,
Gmail.
So then we weren't gonna end with that though,
With what?
with going through the leads.
Right.
Oh, no, that's where we are.
Right.
Because then, and please tell exactly where.
Because then we have to look at the organization of how it's organized, because we all really like the NGSS format of it and how there's fewer standards and they're more focused on the performance standards.
Right.
So we have to figure out how what we have with our leads fit into that kind of format.
Gotcha.
So that would be the next step.
And one of the things through the process, if you don't mind, we've kept a list of glossary terms that we thought needed to be in there. And then, there's something we've affectionately called the third column, which has been, like, ideas of how to teach, or maybe a possible activity to use that, kind of dreaming in that direction. Am I wrong?
Core extensions, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Vocabulary,
yeah,
Yeah,
further
all the
explanations,
stuff.
just general miscellaneous.
resources.
Right.
Until I can forget. You guys,
Yes, we could call it column resources.
the electronic alignment.
That would be great, no.
Did any of you guys distribute the electronic alignment?
Me,
Yeah.
What was that?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I was just curious if any of the other districts use that electronic alignment tool. I think that's what it's called, electronic alignment tool. And you type it in, and our district types it all, and it's been weeks and weeks typing it all in, and then trying to cross-categorize those. But we went and did all that with the science. We brought in, and we had to write examples of each one of the strains that we were addressing, so I should have tried to get a copy of that.
and I think it's because, what I've heard is a lot of smaller school districts do that because they don't have curriculum people at the administrative level. So what you've done there, the larger districts have done through curriculum guides and through alignment. So I think we all have that, it's just it's not in the alignment tool that you have used.
And it's not,
Right.
yeah.
Because in the smaller districts, there's not people to do it. So
Right.
they have the teachers do it, and that's the tool that the teachers use to
Right.
do that.
Or they just write it themselves with no.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Right.
Use what's there, yes.
You are the.
Because it has to be done for IMSA, for
Right.
accreditation.
Exactly.
It's the bottom line. Yeah.
You guys are already.
We're trying to get credit.
Right.
I'm sorry, what school did you say you were? River. River.
And where is that?
Doesn't say Louis.
St. Louis County.
Oh, okay.
And that's, I was gonna ask you, do you have any preconceived ideas or anything you want to bring to the table before we?
I think it's great that you're using that as a base, what's already there. And then, my expertise is K-3, and work with
Good,
younger
good.
kids. So
Because we
that's
know
the
that we struggle with
early
that.
childhood part, so
We
the
need
younger
that.
grades. And, I've designed curriculum, I've worked with the Project Rise program, I've worked with the, St. Louis Zoo and, Botanical Garden. And WashU, yeah, I've been in the WashU program too, which is a lot of stuff that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So,
We're familiar with that,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Their outreach program, I've taken a class in too, so.
Yeah.
And then Dan was front engineer.
Yeah, but she was vice coordinator in your district for a
Yes,
while.
she was.
Bunch of years ago.
She was. I worked with her closely and all the rights. So, you need lower stuff.
We do,
Yes,
because
we
we
do, yeah.
struggle with, okay, are we don't want to
Oh, I'll
make
tell
things.
you if I'm like, oh, no, that's not.
Yeah, you
Because
know.
That's
we
all we
actually
need.
put it out of us.
Don't be bashful.
We were struggling with
Okay.
that. You are our missing puzzle piece.
Okay,
We
the
are
older
thankful
kids
for
are
you.
ours, but the
And
young.
we actually lost another critical piece in, Chris Reese,
I
who
think
was
that's
from
a
Ferguson,
huge-
Florida,
Uh-huh.
and she was she had been fifth grade and then now was the science
Coach,
coach
I think, yeah.
there.
Beverly, would you like to share that you also have met with the high school, the secondary group?
Oh, yeah, we met with the high school group because at the end, we didn't want to have a
Right.
gap.
Because you want to.
We want you.
Oh, right.
And we have met with them, and the nicest way to say the outcome of that would be, we've decided to just go ahead and proceed as we are proceeding, and then talk with them again at the end, because they were having a little more difficulty getting their feet on the ground and really finding a starting point.
So my understanding is that now they have,
Oh, great.
and they are using NGSS as their skeleton.
Okay.
That's what they said they were going to do. I visited with one of them this Friday. They said they finally felt like they're getting their feet under them.
And I
And they're
still,
right next door.
yeah, and I still feel, even though we're not using NGSS as our foundation, I mean, the standards are,
We're finding
We can find,
they're there
you
either
have
way.
to teach, it's the same stuff, it's how you word it and how, whether you want to
NGSS
use.
has some holes,
Yeah.
like there are some
There are
myths
some
that
holes. We
people
know that.
have to trash and treasure in order
Oh,
to
and
align.
while we're sort of, or how are you getting along over there?
Come on.
Okay.
I'm just not getting everything.
He's our
Effectively.
guy. I spoke with a couple of science teachers, and since we were here last, and one of the things, one was the 7th grade science. And so I asked her, what do you see as the big missing pieces when kids get to you? Because that's what we're making sure we cover. And she said years ago there was a piece, and I know Chris has mentioned it, and I think you did too, the misconceptions of science. I know you all have brought that up. She said that is something that she still uses. She said it's something
There's
that,
a document
that
that was
she
created
did.
back when the Glees first were
yes, and
revived,
she said she
and they list
still,
all the misconceptions. I still hand it out to my teachers.
and she
every
said
time.
she still references that, and there, even by 7th grade, there are still gaps there. So she said, just, well, she had lots of things to say. It was a very long conversation. But the one I thought would be most relevant to us was that if we could please, we don't have to use that document, but if we could please make sure that we are addressing those misconceptions in an age-appropriate place, she thinks that would be helpful to her. So, anybody else had anything to say about that? But she's one of those that's been around to see all the changes, like some of your cycles. Yes, she's been through them all. Yes, and she still uses that.
That's yeah.
Well, since the camera's on, I'm going to tell you everything she said about that.
What was it that you looked for?
I just went back into the physics ones because I missed the first 2 days.
Right.
So, just
So going back to one,
misconceptions or terminology that was questionable and, found some suggestions. And it seemed to me like the easiest thing is just to go straight through on page 3 and ready to go.
so that's strand one.
Strand 1,
One
big
C.
idea 1, A.
Yeah, hey.
Jim, can we get, there's some copies of the stuff?
You're more than welcome to scoot closer, or if you got time to deal these, you're more than welcome to scoot close.
Yeah, or you can, I can, you can sit
You
between
can
me
carry
and
your
you.
chair high.
Yeah.
That might be.
You're also
I told them to get copies for her.
Because we kind of are just,
They started to print it out yesterday, and it was like, and then the first email said that there might be a copy.
Sorry?
We need to split it.
and in a minute, we'll have it all up there and you'll just do
Big
it.
idea 1
That's what these-
and A. Should start with the third.
Okay.
Which grade though?
I found an issue with the first grade.
Okay. Big idea one, concept day.
Big idea one, concept day, yep.
Objects and.
Objects and the materials they are made of, kind of properties, yeah. Okay.
I missed this day too.
Yeah.
What's your? Bob Razzle. You know, the holidays, you know, we got young, like, we going away to the projector, or?
If you could, it's like,
It's good.
you start with your friend one.
Trend one, big idea one, which is changes properties.
Eric, have you had the opportunity to go back and see the notes from the first
I'm thinking.
2 days? You already,
I've seen them and I've updated them in the
you've incorporated them into your document? That's all I was saying. I didn't want to be presumptuous.
It'll be on the.
Get it done yet, Eric? Let's see that string open. That's a good idea. You don't have to. There's a piece down there.
How's that?
You got right on to the Got it?
We get the front end.
Oh, that's so fast.
I strive to be much better. Because when I read that, I knew I'm not. I said, because when I read that, I knew I'm not.
I'm gonna find it, Harry. and
Okay.
send it to you.
I can't because I haven't seen it.
Right. There's an elementary, and
I'm
an
old enough, I should have
intermediate,
seen it.
and a secondary, but you know what? They don't send it out very often.
I-
Like,
I-
I have kept my hard copy because I haven't seen it electronically for years. This necessity
Oh, really?
document.
Well, that's what she.
And I've kept my hard copy because of that. It's on my desk at work.
25 years I've never heard of
So
it.
we
So.
Yeah,
can
I-
scan that and email it
I need to.
That would be good.
out. I would say, I would.
I've got it somewhere. I don't know if it's on my thumb drive or on my work.
I know in benchmarks of science literacy, Project 2061 did chapter 15, and that was, so, I probably have that, so.
Well, Barbara St. Clair, I think, is the one that worked on the middle school one. But, there's one from elementary, intermediate, and high school.
Why don't you speak your
I
table
would
forward?
love to see
Like
that.
I said, that's just one
Eric,
thing
why don't you
she
speak
said
your
to
table
me,
forward?
if we
We
could
can
please
understand.
keep that in mind as we're going along, that,
And I think that's a great point.
Nope, you're good.
that's still something
I'm
she's
gonna
encountering.
make this as big as possible.
Yeah, I can read it. I mean,
That's good.
no, that happens.
I've, there's,
That's statewide, guys,
Right.
and that's something that the fact that so many administrators are able to just say, we don't test, we're not tested on it,
Don't teach
it's not part of it.
yeah, but that's gonna end,
So-
because it's part of INSIP now. And in about 2 years, when they start getting, because their science scores aren't high enough, it's gonna shift, but it's gonna take some time.
We won't cry.
The bottom sides all cut off, Eric, or the left-hand side, I'm sorry, right-hand side. What's that?
I'm just kidding. There's a fireball right.
Then if you're left-handed, it's all backwards.
Yeah.
Because your right is really your left and your left is really your right.
Your big time.
I know several of us look
Yeah. I struggle with which is left, right, because my right is really I mean, the one I go to all the time is
You're
my left.
dominant.
Well, then that's when you go.
I know, exactly, I have to.
We'll just leave.
What's that?
Yeah, after like 6 and 8, there's a real problem. Oh, you left and right, yeah. So, start getting in there their head. See, and they didn't put an L in it. I wrote left, big block left, right, big block left.
Just like the kindergarten.
See, I love it. She went back inside, everything on the right side of the face. Nothing to the left hand side. Every time, this is the same, right? It's the left on the right.
Yeah.
People realize.
Okay, here we go. First grade, 111A. All right, as it turns out, you cannot measure mass.
No, you cannot.
So let's use the word determine or calculate. This is first grade, B. Measure, it says measure and compare the mass.
You can compare,
You can compare,
but you
but
cannot.
can't measure.
And then first graders can't calculate.
Okay, so let's.
So I would say just say compare.
Okay. Well, they can measure something,
That's it.
right? I mean,
We're
measure
trying
is
to-
there for some
yeah.
reason.
Which one
I'm
is
just
it?
saying, physically speaking, you
So
can't
here,
do it.
what's
So
not-
just for the sake of the later grades, we want to use the right words.
Terminology.
Are we still using compare and contrast here?
Just, I would say
Well,
compare, because you can't really,
Contrast doesn't really make any sense, but compare is
Compare.
Very nice stuff.
I think that's, yes.
more or less. You think they're capable of putting something on the scale?
But not weighing it down.
They would know that if it goes down, it's heavier. They would take it.
But if we say the word determine, then they can start putting numbers to it.
So when you click on that, it goes straight to the document.
Do you want them,
Well, send that one out.
I think it's our measure gonna go for equal in this.
Right, determine is just saying. Okay.
Well,
Okay,
I'm-
okay.
I just making sure.
Yes, that's the right one.
This is,
Okay,
this
all right.
is, half a kilogram.
Yeah, but on an equal arm balance, those usually aren't, those aren't
No,
on.
that's good equal on this.
Yeah, it's just.
Okay.
That's about the only
Yeah,
form
they
of
don't
measurement
have
they're
that.
going to do.
Okay, all right, that's a good point. Okay, no problem.
So what are we doing?
Just compare the mass of objects.
Okay.
That sounds good. That's it, all I had on that first page.
Okay.
On this next page, which is B, concept B, I noticed that fourth grade B was the same as second grade B. It's the next page is for capital B.
Fourth grade B.
Fourth grade lowercase b, fourth grade lowercase b is the same as second grade lowercase b.
Yeah, the only thing that sits down there was solution, they added solution. We had a discussion about this, I remember a 20-minute discussion about solution and mixture.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've added
They
solution,
added solution.
which is different than mixture, and they've added filtration as one of the examples. So to me, it's building, but
Okay.
That's good. I mean, obviously, it's great spot,
Yeah, okay.
making sure that's,
Yeah. Okay, on the next page, capital C.
fifth grade.
Yeah, fifth grade, yeah, it's the other one. Fifth grade, I guess I thought it could be an EG instead of an IE. I also noticed that the word state, that's probably gonna, I'll put that down for a glossary term. I don't know if that's on our glossary term yet. The word state.
like states
The state of
matter?
the state of matter.
okay.
It says changes in state. The other,
For those of us who learn slow, IE is the,
IE is in other words.
Where is our
And then-
chart?
and then-
Or example.
so IE is that you have to do it, and EG is example.
Possibilities.
Okay, thank you.
I also thought this would be a place we could put in like, remember that intro, intro that said construct a scientific argument based on evidence? So this seemed like this could be a place where they're talking about a scientific argument about changes in states.
Is it about changes in state, or that matter is native particles too small to be seen?
Well, yeah, that's right, and that's it. So right, so it's like, okay, how does a change in state provide evidence? Because it basically says that. I'm just thinking we could say construct a scientific
I
argument.
guess my problem with constructing an argument in this case is there's not an open-ended response.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But then at fifth grade, I think So I'm thinking out loud right now.
Yes, we're,
I'm wondering, is there enough?
I use like a list of things.
You have to do it, and HE is an example. So IE is, those are gonna be on the test, and HE is, these are examples of what could be. Because to me, when there's an argument, it's almost an opinion. It's almost like there's multiple ways of solving it.
Okay.
And you have to provide evidence as to the way that you've come up with to support that. In this case, it's the concept, there's not many options here.
Yeah,
It's
I
because
guess
it's part of the.
well, how about the model? How about you construct a model?
That I would go for better than the argument.
I think Alex, that's gonna take us in, but how would, go ahead and say what you're trying to say with model, go ahead and finish your.
No, just, that's it, just, I mean, just to start from the beginning, right, there's a beginning, it was, construct a conceptual model. That was it, just the beginning. In other words, instead of describe, say.
What if we
construct a
said, construct a model that provides evidence that matter is made of particles too small to be seen?
model?
Or construct a model
using
involving the changes in state, something like that.
So you're just gonna take A, you're not gonna add anything, you're just gonna take A.
Yeah.
And change it to construct a
Add
model.
states for our buffer.
I put it on,
Okay. It's in there.
I think it would make sense.
So bring us back.
So is everybody good with changing this?
All right.
As point of clarity, would you just?
That's what I'm gonna say, we get it outlined, there was no change, let's get it worded.
Fifth grade,
Construct a conceptual model,
hold on, are we on C, fifth grade?
C, fifth grade A.
I don't think it has to be conceptual.
Okay.
It could be,
And by
Because
model,
they
they
could be
could construct it, right,
because they.
they make build, yeah.
And I guess, before we do this, can you give me an example of what they would construct? What kind of model?
Okay.
So we're gonna come up with that eventually, anyway, I just like to see it in my own head, to know what you're looking at and for.
So, I mean, in my mind, even just banging your fingers, just, saying, okay, I've got two particles, and what I'm representing is the air in this room, and boom, they collide and they bounce off each other. That's a model. I mean, that's a physical model.
If you say construct, they think they're gonna have to build
That's
something.
I was thinking development.
Okay, development.
Better for
Yeah, yeah.
because that could even be
That could even be a
a
poster,
two-dimensional poster
it could be,
or something.
Or it could be an, oral
But the
explanation.
but, so what
A
this one,
construct to me implies a three-dimensional.
that's a good idea. Now this one is about like what happens when freezing and melting and evaporation. So the idea would be like, okay, we've got a surface of water, and there's gonna be an excited atom that's gonna break free to the surface. Okay, so there you go, there's a model of evaporation.
Okay, so wait a second.
We're talking about, I don't know if we can change this later yet, to be honest.
I think that could be extra.
Describe not changing the matter. Right, evidence of matter, okay, you're on record, so you want to see, I don't think we need to change that. I think we're gonna, I think, and I'm not, I don't know, but I don't know if we need to change what's already there.
Okay.
But I thought our goal was to make them performance standards. And in performance standards,
Describe
designing a
how. Well,
model,
that's
I'm just thinking we wanted to beef up things instead of.
developing a model is bigger than
Well,
describing.
sure it is, I mean, there's no doubt.
Right, so
But
are
it's
we
gonna be, it's
beefing
gonna
or
be
not
hard to
beefing?
come up with, well, we've already went through and done all of these, so it's gonna go back. and-
I know, I'm just asking, do we wanna beef this one or not? Because if we wanna,
The point is, I think my point is that they're not gonna see them, ever. We're never gonna see atoms, right? I mean, they're, most likely 99.9% of them are never gonna see this came on a microscope, so they'll never actually see this. So they have to do a conceptual model, or some kind of
I
model.
have to understand it.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, I think everything you already said, still, it comes under, it says describe how it changes the matter. If you're describing it via a poster, if you're describing it via orally, you're describing it, and he said make a model.
this could be the teacher standing at the front of the room, giving a
Saying-
direct instruction
Well, that's why I was
lecture
asking you to show
about
me
particles
an example.
together.
Yeah.
So what I see is I see diagrams of beakers with little bitty balls that represent atoms, and that they're close together when it's frozen, and they're spread apart more when it's liquid, and they're spread even more apart. So when I hear develop a model, there has to be some kind of a systematic picture of some kind to represent. So the kid, I know the kids visualizing it, they're not just hearing it.
So I like that, like when you said develop a model.
Yeah.
You said develop a model.
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what we're at.
Well, it's better than.
No, it was,
It's better.
construct is what he said. and that's
Yeah.
why I
Oh,
was
he switched it to
getting banged on
develop.
that, that's what they were getting
I'm
banged on.
telling him about develop, which I like better, because
Yeah.
I'm with you, I agree, I don't think we need to build it necessarily, but we need to
And most of
visualize
the
it.
textbooks have that.
They do,
And
already.
and even in second grade, we have the balloon.
Right.
With the particles. and-
Right.
So.
So I think they're gonna see it.
Develop a model. I'm envisioning a picture of a snowman and then with examples of those down below, and then the melted snowman, how those are.
Right.
That out there too.
Okay, so we're,
So you put
Yes.
the.
everybody's got a picture for the
So
first.
you
for the
got
first
a
column.
mind, and what that means, yeah.
Right.
Okay, good, Randy.
Before,
Okay.
can I just say something real quick? Before we move on to the next one, Eric, I emailed you the misconceptions of science that I found on DESI, so that you can put it in a Gmail, our thing. I didn't email it to you, and I just sent it to him, and he's gonna put it in the thing, the thing. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but that was
Is
the
it
question that was brought up.
gmail.com that you go to get to your
Google
I
Drive.
don't know.
googledrive.com?
I couldn't get even come up on Google.
Oh,
My
I just
Google
click
Explorer,
on the
you only
link
have,
that he
I got,
sends me the
I got your
invite.
text about the meeting places yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, I have it on there.
What about the days of the public?
I just voted in the
So was that for this date, and so I figured I'd talk to you about this.
I tried, you're right there, yeah, she got that.
Well, yeah, you said, well, I think you're putting in an R, you were putting an R
But
in.
then I went to,
Then they just.
Oh, well, that should have been.
So, that's
That's
one.
I'll see if I
That's
can
fine.
find it.
yeah, I was
Or
afraid
they
I
may
was
have
free.
consolidated that was from 2000.
Well, like I said, a couple times when I got it stitched
And
somewhere else,
honestly, it takes us the
you
same.
had an R Dunkers, which is, a lot of people have an R or an in.
And I just wanted to put that we could all have access to the work session.
I will, you know.
Okay, so how do I know if my cookies are in anymore? I swear to you.
I'm not sure what you're doing.
That could be taken a few ways. The camera is on. It's right there.
And the mic may not be really good, but it's a very small room, so I'm satisfied it's picking up air.
You might be in the dentist in there.
So,
It's pretty wide.
anything else, you're really-
I'm gonna try it on.
What was your next one, sir?
All right,
Hold on, whoa, oh, sorry.
That's, you're done for it.
I think we are all,
Close that.
we are congruent on that.
It's just what it says.
yeah, I guess so.
What's up?
Okay, letter D,
The third
okay.
menu icon up here.
Okay, fifth grade A.
Johnny
Classified matter is solid liquid.
Yeah, I hope this is,
Something a friend.
hope you don't think I'm too anal retentive, but,
It's gonna be my friend.
so it says classified matter as solid liquid or gas, and that means they're gonna be exclusionary, groupings. So as you look down in the IE, which I think should be EG, ability to flow, that would be for solids, or sorry, for liquids and gases, and they don't have the word fluid. So I
Yes,
think,
that's true.
so I think we should just take out the ability to flow, because that doesn't distinguish.
What
liquids
letter
and
are you
gases.
on?
Fifth A, right there.
Well, does then go back over to the big one where it says, and I don't know, we're talking about physical change of matter as a result of thermal changes can be explained by the kinetic theory of matter.
Right. What, I'm sorry.
So you're talking about, they're trying to describe, and you said it to be e.g., the flow, talking about the characteristics of liquids and gases? Is that what
So
we're
the
trying
gas
to do?
can flow.
The gas and the liquid can both flow.
They both can flow. Yes.
So that's,
But I don't think that's a reason to get rid of it, because a solid can't. And a gas can flow easier than a liquid.
so. when
So I think the ability to flow is almost like they're taking something, They're trying to put a measurement to it.
Well, what I'm saying is, though, the first phrase, though, it sounds like they're saying solid, liquid, gas.
Put it in one of these.
At
put it in one of
room
these boxes.
temperature,
Yes.
Say again?
at room temperature.
Okay.
Because that's different than just solid, liquid, gas. They're putting parameters on it now.
I don't see how that changes anything, though.
I see what you're saying, because a teacher is gonna look at that and say,
I think we have to show the characteristics of solid, liquid, yeah. How things flow.
Yeah, they're gonna-
Doesn't help.
Doesn't help, yeah, it doesn't make any difference.
Doesn't help at all.
What doesn't help?
Being
I'm not
at room
understanding
temperature-
the argument. Huh?
Being at room temperature doesn't
Okay,
change.
so tell me why you don't want ability to flow.
Well, just because it doesn't
doesn't
neatly
distinguish.
it doesn't distinguish.
It distinguishes
It
the
eliminates
solid
one.
and
From the third,
liquid.
from the third.
If it's water.
Well, a
It
solid
doesn't say
can't flow.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
Liquid can flow.
right, but saying at room temperature doesn't help that phenomenon.
Okay, that's fine, forget I said at room temperature. Strike it.
You're gonna-
Let's go back, I'm still saying that a solid doesn't flow and a
But
liquid
you can
flows.
still classify,
It helps classify.
it helps.
It helps to classify.
But you cannot,
You can't
it's not,
distinguish, right,
yeah. You
You
still
can't distinguish what?
fluid from, liquid from gas.
Not with the ability to flow, but you're trying to distinguish all three, not just liquid and gas. So do you wanna add something that helps them distinguish?
You could add the word fluid,
How is fluid different than ability to flow?
I think they're the same
Because-
thing, that's why they call it fluid. A fluid can flow, a fluid is either a gas or a liquid. So. now
Okay,
you're saying
fluid is
classify-
not a term that is typically used as for a liquid.
Okay,
And fluid, to me, is a very advanced vocabulary word for a fifth grader to recognize that it's a verb and it's a noun.
okay.
And so ability to flow to me is
It works fine.
better for vocabulary wise, but I understand what you mean. Fluid is not gonna help you distinguish between a liquid and a gas. So is there another thing we can add to that?
Okay, I'm reading that first phrase as a unique distinguishing between all three. So one possibility might be solid, liquid, and or a gas. I mean, it seems to me that the phrase,
because the way it's written, you're saying these are all mutually exclusive of one another.
that's right, are they mutually exclusive or not? And the way it's written feels like they're mutually exclusive.
To a fifth grader, it is.
No, these are the teachers.
That's what it's saying, they are, but then you have ability to flow, how many of them would distinguish that could apply to two things and not the third? Is that?
Okay, you're gonna have to say it again.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
I'm not understanding where the,
I'm
I'm not understanding
I
where
know,
the,
help me understand it.
where the angle is or the bugaboo is here.
Okay, so.
Explain
What is
it
the
again.
problem with what's there? That's my
Okay,
question. That's what I want.
classify matter as a solid, a liquid, or a gas, so you have to put them in a mutually exclusive bin. Now, here's some things that might help you put them in a mutually exclusive bin: ability to flow. Oh, but as a physicist, I know that as ability to flow, I can't distinguish liquid from gas
Right.
based on their ability to flow, because they can both flow. So now I see the direct contradiction.
Except,
Well, it says,
I could by the speed at which they flow.
you know, viscosity and
Wouldn't that
You're
make
not-
a difference
No,
between
you're
liquid
not
and gas?
you're not distinguishing what material you're talking about.
Okay,
No,
so
but
what-
if I were using how quickly it flows, would I be able to distinguish between a gas and a liquid?
I think that's unnecessarily complicating. It just, to me, ability to flow doesn't distinguish liquid from gas.
So, what do you
It's like
think?
a physical
I
property.
think it's
Strike the
a two-step process. I think the fifth grader, I think they're gonna look at it and go, okay, it can flow, so it's either a gas or a liquid, so what else? does
Right,
it
that's
need
what
to
I'm
look
wanting,
at
is the next
to
level.
It says
put it
using
into the
physical
right
property, it
column?
says, you know, classify the material of the matter as solid and gas as it exists at room temperature using physical properties.
Mhm.
And flow is one physical property
Is one physical
of two of the three. So I don't, that's,
So is there,
So they'll have to look at it.
Okay.
is there another property you would have rather add?
Here's what I would say that if I were distinguishing them, I would do ability to flow first. So I'm looking at, I have an unknown object, it can't flow, it can flow, so it is not a solid, so I would rule that out. Then, it has a distinct volume, so now it's a liquid, it's not a gas. So the volume part would be, and the shape, it's taking the shape of the bottle, So it is a liquid and it's not a gas. So I would start, they're almost flipped backwards. I would start ability to flow as one of my beginning filtering systems as to determining if it's a solid, liquid, or gas. Then I have to look at, does it have a distinct volume? Does it have a distinct shape? That's my determination between liquid and gas.
I also just, when we drive in, I passed a grain elevator. Solids are flowing into the truck, down the pipe, in the grain elevator.
Well, and that, a solid can,
solids
a
can flow
group
to
of
granules.
solids
Can flow.
can flow, but an individual solid cannot flow. You're right, there's, and this is why misconceptions are a big deal.
It's why my teachers can't teach science when they first walk in.
Exactly. It's why my teachers can't teach science when
So
they've
is
been
this one where we, I don't know, because I see where Bob is going, and I see your, I get this picture now. Is this something where we would want to have a teaching suggestion, like you said,
For sure.
for classifying?
Yeah,
Well, it
that's
definitely needs to
fine.
be put on misconceptions, I
Right.
think.
Yeah.
We talked about a third,
Our third column.
third column,
Yes,
an explanation,
that's fine.
leave it as is.
But I think changing them around.
I think changing it around
Ability
would
to
be a
flow,
bad
yeah.
idea.
Just
because-
because when a teacher first reads that,
I
Yeah.
think that helps a non-science
Right.
teacher
Yes.
determine where to start
Right,
and go
Yes.
down, you know.
because it's a
and-
filtering system, you would use the physical properties to
Like
filter.
And
it
time
out.
is limited, so they're gonna blend.
So the other question, most of our science teachers going to know the ability to flow applies to homework.
I think they're gonna reason it out.
I think that's what you're saying.
I have no science background at all. I don't even like science. And I did that,
I
so.
love it.
I guess I don't know if they are or not, but if they aren't, this ain't gonna happen.
I'm just trying to be real honest.
All right, so can we just switch to, can we just want it? If it makes someone happy, let's just do that and then move on.
Okay, tell me, what extent
So, and what you're saying is the easiest way to fix this? And to get Bob's point in here, is to take the ability to flow and move that up in front of volume and shape? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just suggesting it, but I don't know if that takes care of what
That's
Bob
all
was
right.
having an
Well,
issue
no,
with.
I think the third column does. I think
Okay,
if
we can do
explain the fact that
that it's a,
there are solids, liquids,
you're
and gases
filtering
that
them
can
based
flow
on,
under certain conditions. And the kids will know that. They'll know that grain can flow through a pipe. They'll see things like that. I mean, like how the state is.
Honestly though, wouldn't it be matters?
Some kids will. They'll say this.
Let's keep rolling, sir. What was your
All right,
next?
B, predict the effect of heat. So heat is a process, not a noun. So I just think that.
The heat,
They
the noun
clarify
is
to say
thermal
thermal
energy.
energy.
Yeah, so why don't we just take out the word heat, just say thermal energy without.
How about if we flip it? Can we
Yeah.
flip it?
Well,
So
heat
that-
isn't the right word.
Can we say thermal energy and in parentheses the heat
temperature,
or
difference?
I don't know.
Thermal,
Okay, add thermal energy to our glossary. So get rid of heat, put thermal energy, and add thermal energy to our glossary. Don't you think a fifth grader can figure out thermal energy? No?
I'm thinking my fifth graders can't,
well, I'm just,
unless we have a glossary, we look it up.
Right.
I'm
Or
also
the
thinking,
teacher explains
Right.
it.
I'm also thinking about the higher grade levels and when the kids come.
We're not at higher grade levels though.
But
I know, but
if we
to
teach
introduce
the
the
kids the wrong
word,
word, then it's the wrong.
That's why
word.
I'm saying make thermal energy the prominent
That's
word.
right.
But then is there something we can put in parentheses to help the teacher? Because I'm telling you right now, I
I
don't
think
think we're gonna
putting the
get
word
the
heat
third
is fine.
column. I don't think we're gonna get the third column.
I don't think there's anything wrong with putting the word heat.
No, I think he
Well, I'm saying there
goes,
is.
I think he.
There's heat flow would be okay.
I know it's not technically the proper word, but I think as a descriptive, as a way of explaining what thermal energy is, I think it probably,
I think it would help the non-science teachers.
yeah.
Do you want it in flow?
Yes, I think it's, so.
What do you classify heat as, Bob?
Say again, Bob?
What do you classify heat as?
Heat is a process. So heat is energy in motion. So it has to be moving.
I guess though, it isn't, because it's also a noun.
So I think we're stretching.
Turn the heat up is a noun. So the common layperson also uses heat as a noun. So this is where science and common vocabulary,
So
that
that's,
gray
so that's the
area
third,
of
that's the
that.
third column too. We have one that explains
Yeah.
why the heat on your thermostat
Is not heat, right, yeah.
Okay.
So what do you?
How are we gonna word this? Because we are a long ways to get caught up where we are. How are we gonna word this? Predict the effect of thermal energy on the physical property with a parenthesis around the word heat. So literally just swap those two things.
So after energy, put parentheses, heat.
So the heat, is that, would that be acceptable?
How about this? Predict the effect of increasing, or predict the effect of changing thermal energy. And then in parentheses, you could say
I think
changing.
you make it very difficult for people to understand.
So in parentheses, we could say changing the temperature.
Well, so, you know, a timeout here.
I think we're working really hard on a word that.
Well, the problem is is exactly, what you already identified. You've got a conflict between common language and what is scientifically accurate. And I'm really uncomfortable about having bad science in the text.
Absolutely, that's why I'm trying to say this.
I'm really uncomfortable with that idea.
That's what I say, if you just put those here, but I don't think, if you keep making it wordier and wordier, you're gonna have people that don't understand the concept at all. I think we succinctly.
Here's what I'm suggesting. I think I can predict the effect of changing thermal energy.
What if we said transfer of heat in parentheses? Thermal energy would be the transfer of heat.
And that's addressed in another, that's addressed in another.
Which also gives the concept that energy is transferred, it's not created nor destroyed. So I think it would support not having a misconception.
Beverly's looking in Next Generation Science Centers, and what grade level did you find that?
I haven't found it, that's
I know,
not this
it's hard.
particular topic, so that's why I'm wondering if it's in sixth grade.
It's in PS, energy, fourth grade, page 31, try 31. Energy is transferred from place to place by sound, light, heat. Energy is transferred, can be transferred from place to place by sound, light, heat, and electric currents. So transferred by heat.
Well, I think, I guess the spirit of this, when you look at it, is about change, right? So I think, predict the effect of changing thermal energy, i.e. changing temperature on the physical properties of water as it changes state. So I think, yeah. That's
The way the kids are going to here, and I'm thinking of my kids, they're gonna think temperature is frozen, cold, boiling, hot, I mean, the temperature, that's how they're gonna.
That's it, so even young kids know temperature.
Right.
So there you go. If that satisfies me, you can say.
So
what
I-
is it?
what is the word?
It's not the board, everyone changing temperature, because it could go up or down. So, yeah, change on the physical properties of water as it changes. And if you want to make it a little less wordy, you can say changes as it
That's fine, I think that's totally
Okay.
understandable right there.
Okay, good.
And we read it, people have no problem.
And I know we're being picky, but I would agree, these terms need to be introduced. Even if they're new to the.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm all about it.
But we also want them to understand it.
And it gets these signs good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's-
Have to meet all those requirements made on it.
But there's no change after that initial wording, is that correct?
Their vocabulary.
Yes,
Are we okay? Eric?
I think we say where it's at, where it's at, where it's
So
at.
we're gonna be predict the effect of changing thermal energy, in parentheses, change in temperature, on physical properties, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Eliminating the word heat. Okay. Thank you. 20 for clarity.
Okay. In third grade 3, letter G. There's heat again, so I'm thinking.
Okay, well, are you on the?
Where you at?
Same page, third grade, letter G.
Oh, yep.
For the bottom.
Predict and investigate the effects of
Yeah. So I'm
thermal
thinking,
energy.
I guess I kind of flipped things around. Investigate and predict how various objects and materials will respond to changes in thermal energy.
That sounds doable, that sounds.
The reason they have I think the reason they have predict and investigate is that based on background knowledge, they would have the students predict before they investigate.
Why would you predict before you?
Because they were coming with some background knowledge of heat.
Of what would happen.
Where is it
Right,
coming
and
from?
so the concept is you predict, investigate, and then you look at your prediction and revise your prediction based on what you found out in the investigation.
It's kind of like for the teacher in the classroom, they're checking prior knowledge and in addition to this
Right.
slate.
If I
Or
make the
checking for
predictions, you would know what they know.
Right.
And what you have to actually teach them.
Right,
And
it's
it
gonna
comes
give
from
them
first, second grade,
insight.
Further early on.
We do a lot of predicting.
Before you have them do things, you have them.
Yes, yes.
Because you want them engaged in what they're doing.
And you
do
want to know
that
what
with
they know.
predict.
So that's,
Right.
that's
It's
right.
formative.
And it's a strategy that's used across the curriculum in reading and other things because it sets a purpose for what you're doing.
And it's that making connections that you're trying to do throughout the curriculum.
Yes.
Making a connection with them.
So that's not the problem then.
I just,
problem is gonna
went ahead
be-
and removed the word heat.
Okay.
Because I think it actually works with other,
Because it says change in temperature.
if you just take.
Yeah.
someone-
Well, I was talking about switching too, I think, just to make a little more sense, to say how various objects and materials will respond to changes in thermal energy. Instead of, in other words, put the thermal energy second.
Instead of on.
Right. So I got, okay, predict and investigate how various objects and materials will respond to changes in thermal energy.
That sounds good.
Such as, for e.g., change in temperature. I wanted to say change in state.
Can you read it one more time?
But it's clear.
Investigate, I'm sorry, predict and investigate how various objects and materials will respond to changes in thermal energy. For instance, change in temperature or change in state.
I'm good with
Quickly, I should give me the middle school in GSS because I wasn't finding that earlier in fifth grade, so it's in middle school. The structure properties matter. And they have right here in their definitions of energy, the term heat as used in everyday language refers both to thermal energy and transfer of that thermal energy. It's a lot wordier than what I'm saying. I'm editing now. In science, heat is used only for the second meaning. It refers to the energy transferred due to the temperature difference between two objects.
See, that's what teachers need.
That's right. That's right.
Which even this is so wordy, I left out about
Right.
Yeah, but if it were in the glossary, the teacher could
That's right.
prove to the right concept.
That's right. Okay?
Everybody good with this? Yes, thumbs, thumbs good.
All right,
Make it so.
Okay. Fifth grade B, I just had a suggestion that we might think about doing the development conceptual model there.
Fifth grade B.
Fifth grade B is in boy.
Still on D. Fifth
Oh,
grade,
sorry, I did go over that.
Yeah.
Objective, capital, changing.
But fifth grade concept B, I'm thinking we could think about doing a development conceptual model there. Just because I think that anytime you have something that you can't see, that to me is like where you can have a model, conceptual model or whatever, any other kind of model.
Don't have any problem, you brought that in.
How are you putting it in?
Construct or develop a set.
Are we on B?
Yeah,
B.
fifth grade, sorry, I
So
jumped.
did the effect, we went back and forth, it was
Sorry,
taken,
yeah, sorry.
did the third back to fifth.
Yep, sorry about that. Fifth grade B, so I'm thinking like develop a conceptual model, about how the physical properties of water change as a result of changes in thermal energy. Yeah, it's actually
We're changing G again.
B.
No, B is in boy,
B is in
on
boy.
fifth grade.
Fifth grade B, we already
This is what
changed
we
it,
just
Now
right?
we change A.
We changed A?
No.
No, we
No.
changed A.
Oh,
We
okay.
spent a lot of time
Okay,
changing
okay.
it.
I'm
Freaking
sorry.
out if you want to
All right,
change
all
it
right.
again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
Okay.
my bad.
This is a different column you're in?
That's fine.
So,
So I think that's it, right?
all right, so then what's next?
That's up.
Okay,
Passing an I,
pass the next page.
so 1.2,
So we're now 1.2, strand 1, big idea 2. Okay.
Yes, told us what.
I guess, okay, so I'm seeing something in second grade.
Your big idea A?
big idea A,
I mean, concept A.
big idea 2, yeah, big idea
Concept
2,
A.
concept A, right. And second grade, I think, so I see the word mediums.
Yeah, we had that, I remember this discussion, what,
Yeah,
I would say media.
we did change the media, I just wasn't here for this,
Okay.
so.
Okay. Okay, media, media would be better.
You're changing it to
Media.
media?
Also, as it stands, we're ending a sentence with a preposition. So I might say it's as media through which sound travels.
Anyone have issues with, making this grammatically accurate?
I'm all for it.
I think
This
we're
guy
trying to blend our disciplines, that would be good.
Good, good. Nice and clean, I promise. All right, oh, I see, okay, hang on one second, sorry. I was wondering on kindergarten, B is a boy, why would we include rhythm when that's not necessarily about musical sounds?
Oh, we talked about that because, that was weird.
So kindergarten, B, compare and contrast different sounds. So rhythm isn't really necessarily about sounds.
It's not a property of sound.
Right.
Right.
It's property of music.
Yes, it is.
We can ask that in about 2 seconds.
Exit.
Thumbs up, exit.
Exit.
I agree. You really read it, all of us teach everything on that, so we didn't exit our area. Sticking to what it is, we don't need it.
Good.
So what else would we have besides loudness and pitch?
Tone, is that the same as pitch?
Tone is, the word, I think the word is timbre or timbre. No, that's.
Timbre.
And we're,
That's-
it's timber, I think,
Kindergarten.
What is
those
timbre?
are IEs, so they're testable, is testable is in the
Say it's on the tracks, that's what we use.
Timbre is?
What is the,
Well, thumb.
you know, like you hit something and it vibrates more?
If you put
Is that what
a
timbre
wooden
is?
ruler and a metal ruler,
Yes.
Yeah.
you can tell the difference.
Basically,
When I call you, you can hear you know it's me, but
Yeah.
my voice, that's.
the way I describe it is if a tenor saxophone and the trumpet were playing the exact same note, you close your eyes, you can tell the difference between them. They're playing the same note, but the timbre is different, because so you can actually hear, oh, that's.
What I'm talking about is the length of the sound.
Oh, the duration.
The duration. Like when you hit a drum, it can be real quick, or
Resonate.
it could resonate. Like the kettle drums resonate, the snare drums don't. What is that called?
Yeah, I guess I would call that.
Something for the music video.
Well, that's a third thing that you could explore with designing instruments.
Length of tone, length of sound.
Duration,
There
right.
has to be a duration of.
Yeah.
Kindergarten.
I put duration in.
You take loudness and pitch.
Loudness and pitch is good, but I think for the teacher, it might.
No,
And we could change it to an EG instead of an IE too.
And again, it's not gonna be tested until
Right.
5th grade.
So it doesn't need to be an.
I think it's great to just throw it in.
Yeah, just say, what do you notice about these two different sounds?
And they would be able to tell you that that one
Went
went
wrong,
wrong
yeah.
than this one.
Yeah.
It's almost like this, this
Right,
vibrated.
sir.
Vibrated.
So what are we calling it?
He's on good there.
So I-
Loudness, pitch, timbre, duration.
That was good.
Okay.
Good.
Is that approach?
Yes.
What's next?
Okay, good. All right, I think that'll do for this page, we'll go past the next page. Okay. On strand 2, big idea 1, strand 2, big idea 1, concept A, capital A.
Strand.
What grade?
Strand 2, well, actually, right under the capital A,
Okay.
where it says the motion of an object is described as a change in position, direction, please say and/or speed.
So you want in the concept,
Talks about that.
In the concept.
In the
in
concept.
gray shade box.
Yes.
And/or.
This is about where we show the graph.
Yeah, I think kind of says,
okay.
Pretty close.
okay. On first grade,
It's on the next page.
so in first grade, concept A, or letter A, compare the position of an object relative to another object.
I just describe, oh, it is described there, here's.
Mine is old, okay, okay, fine. But I just thought maybe under the EG, we could say left/right, above/below, in front/behind. I don't know.
We have, what does it say? Read what's up there.
That's what we got.
Describe an object's position relative to another object.
Above, below, in front, behind.
Yeah, what
Are you
you
talking
have
about
on,
kindergarten?
yeah, what you have on paper is gonna be different than what.
Because we've already
We've already added in the changes that we
Okay,
made.
okay. Sorry, I think that's fine.
What's good about that is, we identified it, and you identified it later, so that's always something you can change.
That's
So
good.
it's good.
That's good. All right, excellent. Okay, yeah, moving on. Okay. So in fourth grade, so I'm in strand 2, big idea 2, capital A, forces of evolution. In fourth grade, Newton's, I had it as apostrophe S.
This is A, B, where you at?
This is strand
2,
2,
Oh, 2, 2.
capital A, 2A.
Should page it.
Fourth grade?
Fourth grade,
B,
fourth grade B.
Newton's with an apostrophe S.
Yeah.
That's what I have on mine.
That's what I have on mine.
That's wrong. So,
That's wrong?
yeah, that's wrong.
Should be.
It shouldn't be apostrophe or
Right.
S? Oh, on
Should
E.
not be an apostrophe.
It should be S, or
Just
just
Newton's. Yeah.
Okay.
no apostrophe.
Yes.
Yeah, that
It's
makes
describing the force, not the person.
It's a unit.
Yeah, gotcha,
And that's, that same thing appears again in D as in dog.
gotcha.
Oh, this is stuff. Drives me crazy.
Drives me crazy too, that's
Well,
why
and
I'm-
after I look at it for so many times, I don't catch
Well, I don't
it.
catch it because
Should it be
I'm not that
capitalized?
good.
Yeah,
So are you
Oh,
doing
yes.
D now?
As a unit.
Grams aren't capitalized.
that's true.
That's what I'm, you know.
I've never seen it. I've never seen
It's not capital.
Yes.
I get
Either because
think
it's
that.
always viewed as a proper.
But that's
it. If it's a
unit of
unit,
measurement.
I don't think it should be capitalized,
I
but
don't
I'm not
either.
arguing that lesson. Keep on moving.
Yeah.
I'd be curious, and you got the little white device that'll tell.
Yeah, figure that out. And I'll go
I'm
back and
a
make- and I'll go
looking,
back and
I'm a
make
looking.
changes. We can move on and I'll make, we can change.
Go on, sir.
Through the cap, I've always seen
Newton deserves a cap.
That's right.
You do with the capital.
Anybody who came up with capital for 446, they get capitalized.
I think,
But it's in record like they right too.
All right, for D is in dog down there in fourth grade still. This is what I'm looking at. I'm suggesting to say, use a spring scale to measure the weight of a load.
We switched this to design, so you might want to read the one that's up here,
Okay.
D. Was plan and
Oh,
conduct.
plan and conduct, oh, that is good.
Yeah, this, we changed that one.
Yeah, I think that's where Dan started making that.
Well, was there one about a simple machine somewhere?
Some machines later on in second grade.
second and, goes back in fifth, doesn't it? Or is it?
I think it does.
Oh, I see.
But I know second grade does it.
Oh, let me see the fifth grade A, I think that's where, fifth grade A.
Identify the forces of an act, forces acting on the load. Use a spring scale to measure the weight, resistance force of a load.
All right.
Are you good with that?
Okay, I have an answer to the capitalization question.
Yeah.
This is out of the Southeast Missouri State Science Department, and it says, while we do not capitalize the names of these great scientists who gave the measurements their names, surname, oh, I can't read, it's really, yes. We do capitalize the abbreviation of Newton, so it is not capitalized when used as a.
Oh, wait a minute, you're talking about Southwest Missouri. Can we?
I know, that was.
Oh, okay.
Hey now.
It has been changed.
I know where the end.
He's gonna teach, he wants to teach secondary education, history and English. Good.
Good catch. It has been
I
changed.
learned something.
Thank you. And I do see it in other reference and other places the same, so.
Other more reputable,
Southeast-
that you're saying?
Southeast-
I'm not saying this, but are you saying that other more
Southeast
reputable?
stole it from Wikipedia.
Bob, are we in
Yeah,
2.2D.58 alone?
yes, I
Okay.
understand, yes. Okay, sorry, so.
And just to give you a heads up, Newton appears to place throughout the document, each time it's referencing the measure. And so it's been changed a little bit.
Oh, thank you. You rock.
Excellent. I learned something.
Something about knowing the history.
Fourth grade, same page, C. Observe and identify.
I'm sorry, same page.
Same page.
I have flip pages.
That's 2.2A. Observe and identify friction as a force that slows down. I think we gotta put in the word contact force.
Okay, 22A what?
2.2AC.
Fourth grade.
Fourth grade.
Fourth grade C. Observe and identify friction.
Friction, yeah.
Okay.
As a contact force, just add the word, you're not there, right there. Okay. Observe and identify friction
As
a contact
opposed to a
force.
force that doesn't require. Yeah, I think that's,
Yeah, because later in physics, we want them to be able to distinguish.
well, even when we talk about magnets, they'll.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
In gravity.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that applies.
That helps with our exceptions maybe too.
It's gotta be a contact force.
Okay.
So tell me that again.
Fourth C.
Oh, C.
You're
Fourth
okay
C.
with that, Mary?
Observe
Having
and
that.
I'm just looking at, look at the actual strand. So it says,
Forces affect motion.
no forces that are classified as either contacts or non-contact.
Observe and identify
So we want
friction.
this to say,
C. Right there, right where the.
Yeah.
Observe and identify friction as a contact force.
Got it.
Okay.
well, it says in A, yeah, I see what you're
And
saying.
I thought too, no, I don't, this is just a suggestion, in parentheses, you could say between two surfaces.
We went through all this, didn't we? I
So
remember.
if you go on down, it says touch another object or surface, compare the forces using a spring scale in Newton, which is now under capitalized, thank you. Required over friction.
What are we doing now?
Observe and identify friction.
You flip to D?
No, we're still on
Still
C.
But we're kind of reading around it to make sure we're not missing.
Observe and identify friction as a contact force.
Which is in the big,
Okay, so I'm curious, okay, and I just wanna know why we're making it say contact force.
Because we may not use the concept A when we reformat and reorganize this. So we don't want to lose the fact that friction is a contact force. So even though it says it in the big A, we need to include it in the little c, because if we use NGSS
That's right.
formatting, we may get rid of all of these.
It says,
We may not have that.
classify
Well-
contact force.
We're not contact, we're gonna work off of this, so.
And as a teacher, that is,
a reminder, maybe.
it,
Yes.
it's better to have it there than not.
Yes.
I'll
It's a
admit that.
necessary reminder.
And,
It's a, security link. It's a,
so I thought too, maybe the contact force in parentheses say between two surfaces, and then say responsible for slowing down or stopping a moving object.
That's a
I think
glossary
it's kind of
thing.
sweet to-
See, yeah, getting into
Because what's the difference between what you just said and that slows down or stops a moving object that is touching another object?
So I guess I just changed the word. New wording.
So we can change I wouldn't put it in parentheses. If you think the wording needs to be changed on the back half of that, then I would change the wording on the back half and not add something in parentheses.
Okay. Oh, I see between two, okay.
Yeah, so if you wanted to say something different, tell
Because
us.
this is probably different than what you had originally, because I think we've been.
because the next one, we changed the
We changed the whole
design,
thing.
instruct, or plan and conduct.
Fair test.
Fair test.
Well, and I guess I was thinking the word responsible because it's friction, it's doing the slowing down.
Bob, read again what you were saying, what you were recommending.
I think that's fine.
Listening to you from afar, I think what is there is what you're saying.
Good. All right, and I think that's it.
All right, so if that's it, that takes us to 5.1.
Have you gone through, you have to say what we did while you were here? You
No.
can look at what we did while you were here.
And I'll get it from him, I'm gonna get a copy from him today so I can see the.
Does anyone want to take a break? It is
That would be
10:21.
wonderful.
Yeah, if you guys like.
All right, hold on, quick time out.
Sir.
While we're on break, anyone who does not have access to these documents,
I need
connect
my
with me.
cookies enabled.
I'll work with you on cookies.
I got mine.
If you do not have access, stop with me so that we can get you access.
Oh, bring us Oreos.
Hey, I found out which
there's
one in
three
my
after.
purse this morning, you can't put it.
Like 10 minutes good or maybe 15?
Oh, 35 after, according to this.
Is that good enough, everybody? Thank you. Just wanna make sure we're getting
We're
someone
good.
else.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I took.
that's 35. Let's really try to be back. Okay.
Yeah, I found a random
Road
Oreo
to
in
the
my purse.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So,
This has got to be,
Thank you.
hardworking group.
It's because it's science.
This time you gave me a headache.
I was gonna say, I got a headache, but I have a headache every day.
I think I can do 3 of these.
I'm sitting here thinking, I drink one soda a day, and I think I might need another one.
Oh my gosh. Mercy.
I wore this sweater because last time I know this room's warmer than.
This is, that other building was a beautiful building, good cafeteria and all, but
Yeah.
it's so much more convenient.
Yeah, but this one has a parking garage next door.
Of course, today it wasn't a matter.
It wasn't a matter,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like I taking a
I'm
shower.
glad it wasn't today. Get out the oars.
Person last.
Jen, are you already in there right now?
No, I am not.
Okay.
I'm just in my notes.
I'm wondering which,
And I better,
which connection, I got like a whole bunch of connections.
It's, which one did I get?
I'm in Evernote.
Oh,
I
registered, yes?
No, PSP Public.
Yes, oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Oh, no, no, I got one right here.
Is there a matter?
Anybody want
No, it's just.
Maybe I can give you.
Only thing is, it's,
No,
since it'll kick you off if you're
What do you want
static
in
for
it?
a while.
Nothing.
You have to.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
20. That's the all.
Okay.
That's
So nothing in it,
your
you want
downstairs.
Black
I'm good.
Okay, I'm just stretching.
wired for sound.
Although I will say, not making that whole drive in one day.
Oh, I bet helped a bunch,
Of
didn't
course,
it?
tomorrow though, I'll have to drive.
I was gonna ask you, are you gonna go back and stay at your mom's tonight, or?
Probably,
Okay.
because I thought about that. That hour each way I would spend, I would have had to do yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
Getting them.
Yeah.
I think it would just be almost easier for me to go back home there and get them ready to go.
I
And then I hope that Mom is gonna meet me somewhere tomorrow so that I don't have to drive.
back and then switch around, yeah. Yeah, not a problem.
And this is when you have access to it.
Jeez.
I would like to see evidence.
All I have to sign it.
Anything from downstairs?
No. Here, do you want anything downstairs? Bottle
If you find a water.
bottle of water? A bottle of water?
No, it's probably black on
Yep. And I'm sending you an email right now.
Oh, are my
Yeah.
cookies
What kind of fun
enabled?
do you have? What kind of fun do you have?
I just got them, just learning how to use.
Yeah, so I can set it up so you can check your Gmail.
Woo-hoo! It's right there, I brought it to you. And I left it up there, like left up what it was saying, but I don't know how to make it be happy.
Yeah. America proud.
Okay.
Trying to go to what word that's for.
I wanted, oh, I was there. I was trying to get into my Gmail, into my Drive. And when I went into my, in there that popped up. So it said go to settings, but I couldn't find settings when I got to there. Is it options instead of settings? Well, of course it is. It says something about advanced. I don't know if that was possible. Is it in there? No. I drove up last night. Yeah, I stayed at the, I usually stay at the Capitol Plaza, because they'll give $83 a night if you're $4. So if you tell them that you're on a work group, no, the hotel will give us a rate.
I have, best friend from high school, and, she put them together, and so she lives in Pittsburgh. So I drove up and stayed with her.
Yes, nice. So you get a nice visit and.
And I don't see her.
Yeah, well, great. What college is it, Fulton?
Westminster.
That's where Science Olympiad's gonna be held.
Really?
Yeah, they're switching it from Azusa Science, to Fulton this year.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I think it's because Columbia, Mizzou's doing a ton of, like, all their big administration building or something having construction done.
Construction?
And so, like, the whole campus is tore up,
Oh.
so they're gonna do, Science Olympiad.
Stay out there. Oh, if you can stay on for 10 minutes, that's right. You're
I'm
so
just
sorry.
staying on my LT, I don't even know.
Oh, really?
I know, but I have,
That's
but I have two teenagers, and we go through our data,
See, I
like,
upgraded
No, I
to the
didn't.
30
That's
gig, and
fine.
that's
I'll
just
follow up.
for this and this, so I'm good. AT&T. You can get 30 gig now for,
I guess I should do Verizon. All these other people,
Is it not fixing
more
it?
data. And it's,
have I told you what I have at home for Wi-Fi? Okay, hang with me a second. I live out in the middle of nowhere.
okay.
I went on eBay and bought an old grandfather Verizon unlimited data plan. Okay, and then did the transfer of liability, take that over. Then I bought a cheap phone off eBay, bought one of those stick USB
You want me
modems
to
and
open
router.
it?
We already
Activated
have IE.
Good.
the phone
So is it working there?
on the unlimited
Well, that is
data.
crazy. I can go through right now. That's fine. Okay.
That's it, in the
Because
little,
all your cookie settings are corrected.
plug that into my router, and that is
You
my
know what, that's not
Wi-Fi.
up to me because our whole district
Hey,
is
here's the
having
funny thing is-
issues with which.
We don't get it.
Is there
Get
like,
Verizon
we use
service.
IE for
No, I don't really
certain things,
either.
Firefly for certain things, Google Chrome for certain, I'm
So when
like,
I
But I
went
must think
after
that's a
Lynn,
district.
I really hit on
It
my
sounds like
room
they have the same.
and adjust
So-
my,
You really have to work
Good.
that.
Oh, yes.
yeah,
but I have
yeah,
unlimited.
they ghosted or whatever, and
Well-
it work, yeah.
We switched our internet provider and our Wi-Fi provider,
That's
and
such a novel idea, we have one person.
I know.
Sorry.
because we had cable, and I switched from cable to AT&T Universe. And anyway, it kept, the TV kept whacking out. So my husband was not happy. So we got to the cable, and they have crappy Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no
Win.
So Zach my 17-year-old, turned his phone Wi-Fi off because he couldn't get on at home through Wi-Fi, so he was using the phone.
Oh
my God.
I was gonna say, it's in your data plan.
We kept getting that, like 10 days in. You're
Yeah.
up to use all of your data. And he's like, why are we going through all this data?
Well, I think the thing about the unlimited Verizon, because it's basically, that's what my Wi-Fi is.
Yeah.
It is like when everybody gets on their phone, it slows down. So that's why I up to the 30 gigs, I can turn those on the phone. Everybody else. Here's what I think.
You can't have it, okay. I was gonna say, I don't. I was getting sunflower, and I think the Colombian sesame. I wouldn't take it.
It contains peanut cocaine and all that, so if you are allergic to peanuts, nothing else, really.
It's not
I
I have Benadryl too.
I brought chocolate for later.
She brought us goodies again.
You are too sweet.
I have chocolate with that.
I'm still loading. Is it a bad sign if I'm still loading? I think my electromagnetic aura is off today.
Your aura?
My aura. I'm thinking I may have to just wait
Pick it out.
later.
You know what? I'll take a Benadryl. I was gonna say I do have Benadryl.
So we are at strand 5.
No, I'll take one.
One you can take
We
one.
are at 5-2A is my assumption.
I'm gonna never put
Yep.
Grade 5. Grade 4. There's no number.
That is my assumption.
And now if I'm at home, I might put either.
If I got this long to think, I would be fired.
But imagine if we were allowed that long to think, what kind of products would you produce?
Exactly.
No, thank you. I'm gonna go.
It would probably save time. Exactly.
Alright, tell you what, I'm gonna get you a bottle of water. You can make this thing, bring it up here, doctor.
No problem.
I'll get you a bottle of water, right now.
I would drive people crazy, but that's what I
Right. Absolutely. Well, teachers should be hired for 12 months.
should do. I'm sorry. And I don't care if that goes 45-15, 41-16, I just, yeah.
Hey, there are nuts in that.
Oh, there are.
If anybody, you're going
I'm
to
taking
get
a
nuts.
Benadryl.
They are
She's
awesome.
taking a Benadryl and eating it anyway. Everybody keep an eye
If
on
you
it.
were.
I had to have
If you ever look at it, take them over here.
It'll just make
Oh, do
me
you want
angry.
some? Oh, thank you. Here you go, here's one. With appropriate Jacqueline.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Well-
You rock, Bonnie.
Thank you. I don't have any.
I need the snack, I think. That's gonna help your aura.
You think it'll help with electromagnetic aura?
Somebody was.
Yeah, you should get the snacks. We have better snacks. Well, like I said, ours are better.
That reminds me of my great grandma.
I know.
Orange slices.
Orange slices.
Great grandma's peanuts. My husband loves them.
Ugh, I think it's a waste of power.
Stan runs it.
This, however, is not.
No, you're right. It's very helpful. It's got a little pump.
Let's take a cup.
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
It might start like the World War III.
Who do you know that we don't?
I have.
Don't want to come back and meet with us again. Okay, where's the marker? Anybody have a marker?
Here's some.
Oh, she wants the name on her cup.
Here,
I can tell she is elementary. I'll play.
Are they smelly ones?
Oh, no, they're not. Darn, I should have brought my smelling.
Oh, this is a smelly one.
I want to let you get it.
I have those at home.
Now, Mr. Sense, I don't mind, but those other ones.
We've been making gourd.
Now, what's the?
Gourd is, candy corn, peanuts, raisins.
Oh, I don't put raisins.
And M&Ms.
Oh,
Mixed
you
together.
get the raisins and you got a pretty good combination.
I would have to put cashews.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
put
that would-
cashews
and then drink
or
Dr.
almonds.
Pepper. There you go, there you go.
Got it. Raisins are good in it.
That's what we're doing.
Sure.
Do we have an observer sign?
We do have an observer sign, yes, it's over here, you wanna sit there?
So wherever you're comfortable.
Yeah, there's-
The one
There are some places like here.
that was working on.
Well, here's your sign.
You can not be spread out so far.
I know, I'm like,
I don't need to.
I want to bring up my Google Drive.
So you're currently.
Not on the slave driver, but it is passed.
Yeah, we're there.
Okay.
Jan's cracking the whip.
Thank you.
Next time I'm setting an alarm for you. My son's big on timers. So he set his
Oh,
for 5 o'clock.
Oh.
Didn't wake him up.
No, it did not.
Right here?
Okay. I brought it.
You are.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Good to meet you.
Sure. More than welcome.
I think a lot of us here are.
Okay, good. Deanna.
Some of us even get the title of grandma too.
I was there.
That rocks there.
I can't
The
believe
grandma.
it.
Oh, I love it.
And $3.
It is that.
No, I'm not rushing my children much, but I can't wait.
Right, the best.
I can bet it will be God's reward to me for not killing my teenagers. How about that?
Well, I totally understand that.
They may not make
I mean, your kids here, the kids, let's watch this.
Yeah.
Mom.
No, I
Mom's on, what, Mom?
I've told them. You better give me grandchildren one day, because that's the only thing that's gonna make this work.
My mom may be regretting that right now.
She'll probably say, you are late to pay, you're raising. You make it up.
Don't we
We
all?
all trust me.
You know, put it in at the end of Duncan, because I think my district has switched over my name. They added an in now, which they never had before, because there wasn't room, so you couldn't put the in on the end of Duncan.
Oh, so you just didn't do
So,
Oh.
my district may have
So they upgraded.
upgraded for that. Someone else had to do something the other day.
5-2, big A.
5-2 big A.
We're gonna start finding my way.
5-2.
It is.
Wow, that's so far over, it's hard to believe.
5-2 big A.
Thank you so much for the watch.
Oh, thank you.
You're okay, I just want to put some little on your head. Thanks, ma'am.
All right, people of Earth, in 5.1, Earth systems have common components and unique structures.
We did that.
We did that.
No, you know.
I thought
Yeah.
We did all 5-1.
5-1C, I have changes on 5-1C.
Third grade. Yeah.
We're on 2.
Yes. I believe so.
Overachievers, 5.2.
Yes.
Earth systems interact with one another as they undergo change by common processes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, do it. What love do you have for 5.2?
Although can we just go one page back?
One page back, there's nothing.
One page back, in Earth Systems #1, So big idea number one. D is on climate.
Are you on D?
I'm on the
No,
page
he's on
on
D.
You're on the blank page.
There are no standards
Right,
there.
that's what he's,
This way
that's what he's
today.
getting to.
That's what I'm saying, thank you.
Give me a second.
Oh, thanks. But, okay, so climate is addressed in somewhere else in like 5 pages from now. So I didn't know why climate was there.
Do we even need that? Is what
Where?
we-
We're
I
not
know-
going to have that eventually.
Say again?
If we make our format like NGSS, these concepts are not gonna be there.
Oh, you need because they'll be organized the way.
It'll be organized
Organized
differently.
differently.
Right, so I'm not as worried about the
Okay.
concepts or the big ideas, because we're gonna have to shift those when we do the big brand organized, especially with your third.
And so,
Right.
okay, okay.
But you weren't wanting to add something.
No, I was wanting to take it away.
Yeah,
Like,
it will
somewhere
probably go
else.
away.
Okay, all right.
I'm assuming it's there because
Well, it's a placeholder. It's a
Because if you
placeholder.
look at 12, there'll be
it's the
something.
same.
Right.
Right, picks up on it, that's what I
Right.
figured.
Right.
I just don't-
I don't want that.
I guess that's-
Okay, so we're on to A.
5-2A.
The Earth's materials and surface features are changed through a variety of external processes. Everyone understand what we're trying to for?
I had a question about why would they say external?
Because they're not internal.
Are you thinking internal and external,
Or just processes?
or just processes?
External to the earth,
Huh?
external to the earth,
Yeah,
so meteorites.
no,
No.
surface.
Like
Surface.
erosion,
Like
stuff like that.
wind, rain,
Surface.
and hot surface. It's
Surface
not plate
features.
tectonics, in other words,
Okay.
and it's not the
Okay.
lava
Okay, so
that
makes
we
sense.
did.
So, okay.
So we're on 4th grade A, is that right?
Yep.
Little A.
Little A. Scope of sequence changes in the Earth's surface. A, observe and describe the breakdown of plant and animal material into soil through decomposition processes.
Maybe we could say develop a scientific model, or does that develop a scientific argument based on evidence?
So are fourth graders really doing this?
This is a lot.
Yeah, like,
Let me read through this whole thing and kind of get my head around this.
Yeah, let's read all the way to E, and then we'll come back up. You might make your own sense.
Fine, did you get an email? Kelly, did you get an email?
Yeah, Right, right. On the playground. And that's the way that A is a teacher. So it's a very similar scale. So I guess it's a senior. You need to know that. Is that makes sense?
Because second to be, right, so you guys are reading it to see the flow.
Right.
And this is, that's done all the time.
Everybody ready? Start at the top. Obviously, you know we're gonna fill and observe and describe.
I don't know that we are, because as fourth graders, I don't know that they can go through the carbon cycle to the
Right.
point, I mean, when you literally talk about what it's talking about doing, the breakdown of plant and animal material into soil, decomposition, that is chemical, I
Compost,
mean,
I mean,
if you're just describing
what
the
we've done.
process of composting, that's fine, but that's not what this says. It's, if, you can take this all the way up to an advanced biology
Sure.
class looking at it. So, to me, this is
Or
an
you take-
introduction of a concept
Exactly.
at fourth grade that should not, they
The
should just
idea
be
of
watching.
walking outside and saying, here is, you know,
Yeah.
find an example.
And 3 months later, it's gone. So
Right.
you put the fetal pig in a cage, you watch it break down. You put something dead plant, and you compost, you
Right
watch it
on.
break down, that's it.
The leaves in the fall.
That's what I
Exactly.
mean,
Yes.
you walk outside,
and record you can record your Absolutely. observation.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at what you're watching, and it's good science, but this is not, I don't even know I would put describe, I'd almost just put explore or something like that. 'Cause
That's-
again, this
Well, the
is
describe, I
intro.
think that goes back to making them accountable.
That's
for-
fine.
I mean, I think that's why we
Yeah.
put together.
I even
That's
thought
fine.
about discuss.
Yeah, that would
Because
be,
describe, I'm like where Ann's at, that is a teacher may take that as they need to write an essay or something.
Right.
But really what we're wanting them to do is to introduce that concept. It's the beginning of the scaffolding for a later
yep.
end
I
result.
think it's second grade, they actually kind of introduce it, right? Slow change in their services
They do.
and materials.
I
Now,
don't,
that's more, that doesn't say plan. Well, let's say such as decay, rotting.
Yeah, I think it.
Because actually, I think it's our second, our second grade's the one that does the rotting log, and how to go out
Mm-hmm,
and get them a good log that's already got
mm-hmm.
stuff on it. I think it's introduced in second grade, so I don't think there's anything wrong with observing the
Okay.
scribe.
Okay.
but I
I mean,
wouldn't
that's
do
the
anything
least,
else.
yeah.
But I wouldn't add to it.
In this particular one.
And I know I've seen our fourth grade do some pretty neat projects with this in the past.
Absolutely, I'm not saying it's not doable, I'm just saying this is not to mastery.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Okay, so are we good with A?
I'm good, yes.
B, identify the major landforms, bodies of water on Earth.
Do we want this to be more than identified?
Yeah, I think so.
So that's,
Again, this is low level,
Mm-hmm.
and so how would you apply that? I mean, honestly, there's certain things in education you just have to know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to think, how would I kick that up? We can investigate.
How about just identify and discuss?
What are you gonna discuss? It is what it is.
well, you're gonna
You
discuss
could
landforms.
Hearing, Lake Erie.
You could compare and
Well,
contrast.
you discussed their
You
types
could
of
compare
landforms.
and contrast.
Compare and contrast is where I see this going. Because if I'm gonna introduce these landforms, then I'm going to, as a classroom
Yes.
teacher, take that discussion
Yeah.
to
How's
compare
the
and
lake
contrast.
different
Yes.
than a stream?
So
would
that's
say
why I
that's
wanna
where
teach
you
it for the,
go.
so that they have the skills to identify it.
Yes, yes.
Could I ask how that differs from what you would do in geography?
Well, and that's my thing. I can tell you as a former fourth grade teacher, I did this more in social studies than I did
Absolutely,
in
it sounds like a
science.
geography lesson.
in social studies.
And it's
also.
integrated.
Right, again, if it's an integrated curriculum, it's perfect world. But to me, this isn't as much a science.
So when you look at the scope and sequence on
Well, I
four,
think what you're looking at, if you go back to A, they were talking specifically about the changes through a variety of external processes. So you're talking
So
about
now-
rivers, lakes,
So are
coastlines.
we talking about how those are changed?
okay, so
later?
later it
But it
says,
does say that later.
relate the type of landform water body to the process by which it was formed. So they're wanting
That's down here.
you to get to the point, so honestly, do we need to identify them? I would like to even see this go away,
Yeah.
because
Okay,
if they've got to relate the type of landform water body and move to that standard, move the IE, what
But my
they
question
are.
Can
is
we just
this.
move E up and attach it and reword B, where you still list out the different types, or at least put those different types down that you're wanting them to.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, I would join B and E. I would not eliminate B
No, but
because,
I'm saying put the examples in E and
Yes.
call it good.
yes. Somehow coordinate B and, yes.
Mesh those. Eric, are you meshing?
Because there's no other place in there that they learn to identify. And identify is obviously the first step.
And can we just say what you're saying, or take E, move all of E up to B, just remove, identify the major landforms / body of water on
Right.
Earth, and just replace that with
Relate the
related
types
types of landforms. body-
And then there you go,
Yeah,
IE.
Right.
Yes.
E.
So
That's
take
exactly-
E, put it at B, and leave the IE
I
at
don't
B.
think, I think that still does everything that we needed to do.
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Where's Eric at?
He's working on it.
No, I mean, where's he at?
We might want to provide the examples of the landforms.
That's what I said, we're gonna leave that
Leave the
IE,
IE.
mountains,
Yeah.
plains,
right,
river
yes.
valleys, coastlines, canyons.
Yeah.
Test.
Yes, so those could be testable.
Yes, that's what I wanted to make sure, yeah.
Let's see, peninsula.
I think,
Because this is supposed to be a culmination set of standards, not a progression of standards for fourth grade. So in order
That's
to
true.
relate, you have to identify. So if the teacher's teaching to relate, that should all be taken care of.
Yes.
Works just fine.
But I heard someone say, I don't see peninsula, is there a reason that that's not in there?
I don't know, but I don't feel like researching it.
Well, that's.
Well, and that's why I'm probably thinking of it, is because I taught in social studies.
Right, and that's
I
why
didn't teach
I
this in science, I taught in social studies.
Right, you're right. So that might be more of a social
Coastline.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, point of clarity, so E is going to become B.
Yes,
Where we
ma'am.
relate the type of landforms, yada, yada, and then the IE identifies the landforms.
Gotcha.
Gotcha, thank you very much.
Are we good with that?
Yes.
That's good.
Wonderful.
Yeah, okay. Then we're gonna scoot right on down to C. Describe how weathering agents, water, chemical, temperature, wind, and plants cause the surface changes that create and or change earth surfaces, and I wasn't here, so I didn't. Earth surface materials and/or landforms/bodies of water.
Isn't that the same?
Well, this is describing how weather.
Well, look at the scope and sequence.
Yeah, I gotta
and
look
see
at
it.
what.
I noticed C and D were similar, so I was thinking of combining C and D. I would
I
not
could
be
say describe how weathering and erosion process.
That's basically.
No, those have to stay separate.
They do?
Because there's a huge misconception, kids confuse weathering and erosion.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have to keep, those have to
And
stay
I think
separate.
a model is appropriate on the erosion.
The model?
Yeah.
We talked about
Talk
doing
about that.
models.
Talk about the poster contest that our conservation
what-
department does.
Mud tables are
Yeah.
wonderful. Oh my God, they've done it. They love it.
Well, I'll tell you what, let me just throw out my suggestion, okay? So develop a model which explains or explores how various agents, such as weathering and erosion, cause changes in Earth's surface.
You are random.
Is that good or bad?
I am concrete sequential.
That means she's lost.
You don't get to skip around.
We're on D.
You flew through two standards.
Now we're on D. We just
We're
moved
done
down.
with weathering. Did we say yay to the weathering standard?
Well, we're
I'm
talking
still
about.
suggesting, talk about
I
leaving that
said
one
no
alone.
combined.
Right,
I'm
that's what I said,
suggesting
leave that
combine
one
and
alone.
saying, in saying that they're different. I know they're different.
No,
No, it has to be
it
two
has to be
separate
different, and
standards.
here's why. In the elementary classroom, they are very different concepts that are easily misunderstood and
By
misconceptions.
adults and students.
And for example, and when you go into brain research and such, when you talk about latitude and longitude that are distinctly two different things, but are related, you should teach them in isolation rather than together. And that, just don't go there. Brain research, no, go.
That's a good argument.
Okay, so we're leaving C the way it is that what I'm
I would say,
hearing?
you see, on, you talked about, on putting a model.
Can we model something somewhere?
I was
That's
trying to
that'd be very
figure
simple
out-
on D,
Have we done
just
this?
model how the erosion process causes change in terms. I think you can change, real simple, modeled up, get rid of describe,
Yeah,
modeled up, and you got it.
that'll help distinguish between the two.
It's
too.
Yeah.
very, very simple.
Okay,
Not model the,
Model-
develop
I'm
a
sorry,
model or whatever.
Model how, I'm sorry.
Develop a
And
model
this is on D?
we're on
Yeah.
C.
We're on the model.
Okay.
of how erosion processes.
Gotcha.
Just model how erosion processes. I think that, just get rid of describe it.
Now, I thought this might also be a place to put in some engineering. And say maybe in the resource column, we can suggest an engineering activity, like design an engineering solution to reduce the effect of one of those agents of change.
And that's,
Perfect. That's what
and that's,
we
I
did
think, almost
somewhere.
everybody
We've already
does,
done
so that
that.
would be a fantastic spot for that.
We have already done that somewhere.
I thought we had two, but, you know,
It wasn't erosion, it was,
It was.
It was for fourth group, but it was on the Missouri, when they were discussing,
On
human
the
human
ecosystem.
effects.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the ecosystem.
Yes.
it was
but we were talking about human effects.
Yes.
Right.
That's true.
Because we got into the climate discussion.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did.
But this wouldn't necessarily be human specific.
It was probably changing.
No,
the
it's not, the
ecosystem.
human specific comes in at 5.3, we're still in 5.2.
Okay.
Design a model to solve a problem causing harm to the ecosystem.
Yes.
And we were revisiting that standard
So-
later.
Do we want to put then again in the third column what Bob said about, I lost what you're trying to,
Engineering
thank you.
solution, I said, See, I had thought the word agent, so I just, they have
And
agents.
you can do track of all three column ideas and.
I'm trying to.
Okay. Design an engineering solution to reduce the effects of one of these agents of change.
And then you talk
Hold
about.
on, are we talking about an E?
No,
No, we're
No,
talking
you're
about
talking
third
about
column.
Yeah, maybe, but I guess it is an engineering.
Say it again.
Okay. Design an engineering solution to reduce the effect of one of these agents of change.
And that could be.
And that could be anything, right?
So you're adding that in addition to,
No,
No,
this
it's
is
the
just
third column.
as a suggestion for how to.
Suggestion.
How to teach it. An excellent way to try to teach it. Because it's-
Seems like a good place.
Well, the state of Missouri went all the effort and energy, and they bought this big string table, pulled on behind a truck, and they took it, parked out behind the building. It was gone. It's like a $20,000.
Our water center has one stuff for you.
So it was quite the knock the next year when I called them, hey, you went 7 great string table.
Okay. Point of clarity, will somebody please read for me what you have at 5.2, big A, grade 4D? We're changing it to develop a model.
Oh, yeah, I think develop a model for how erosion processes.
For or of.
I'm just asking because I
Develop a
thought,
model of, I guess I was fine. Develop a model, it's not a describe, gets thrown out, and develop a model
How erosion,
of how erosion processes.
yada, yada, yada.
Right.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So are we on the second grade?
Second grade, yeah.
Second grade. Observe and identify examples of slow changes in the earth's surface and surface materials. For example, rock, soil, layers.
How about
Due to the processes such as decay.
see, I think this is an opportunity that we can make it better because in second grade, I guess they don't use weathering or erosion, they're just talking about changes in the surface.
So I thought investigate and describe.
This, because they go through, they go through the rock. They actually do the rock cycle.
They can't
They
really
actually talk about
investigate that though.
They talk about the differences between rock and soil. They begin to talk, rocks this, soils. Isn't that some of the thinking that goes into that?
And they actually do the rock cycle. They do the metamorphic into the.
At second grade,
Not
not
in
in fourth
this
grade.
specific.
No, but we do that in previous.
You already.
Okay.
I guarantee you they're in second grade. They've done it for years.
Well, I can tell you.
Well, and it's
Well, maybe
about
this right
slow
here.
changes. So those are hard to observe.
Because that's what the earth, the changes through a variety of external processes.
Here's the problem though, we don't want to use vocabulary in there because they have examples of both weathering and erosion in here. So it truly should be an exploration of what changes are happening on the earth's surface. So I see teachers bringing in pictures, I see them showing video, and then what happened here.
I mean, at our school, I see a walking field trip.
Right,
Right
you
there.
can see
I
it
mean,
outside,
That's an
right.
outside lesson right
Right.
there. Pretty day we're outside.
Right. So I really think it has to be introductory, and I don't know that observe and identify aren't the right words for that. I think they should be observing and then saying, yeah, this is an
Identifying
example.
the change,
Right.
yes.
I don't know. I want to think this is one where they use the shoot cubes.
Yes.
You're talking.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, that's not what the standard says,
Standard is.
Well,
but that, I mean, you could do that, but that's not what the standard
Right.
is saying.
but I think they're good as it's like it's talking about the Earth's surface changes. As an example, it shows a simulation.
Of how it
Right,
happens.
right.
But I don't think that this standard deals with how it happens.
Well,
Literally, this is
This
identify
standard,
the example.
this standard specifies slow changes, so you're not gonna see that in one
Keep running down by running water or wind.
Yeah, you would, because in a construction site, you would see next to the construction site the way the ground was, and then at the construction site, you would see rivulets of mud that had been gored out of the ground, so you would see that. You drive down the road and you would see the cliffs that have been cut out, and you would see the rocks that are starting to fall down and fall off. You'd see cracks in sidewalks, and you'd see other parts that aren't cracked. I mean, to me, that's what they're talking about.
And for us, I mean, a lot of our kids have been, like, this is second grade, have been there since kindergarten. You can
Right.
show, remember when on the playground this was such, I mean, that's the luxury we have. Now, I know that not every district has that luxury
Right.
due to location.
So are we good with it, or do we want to change?
I think
I
we're
think it's fine
okay.
the way it is, I mean, 100%.
Are you voting on it, guys?
Thumbs up, let's move on.
Urban identified.
Yes.
Is everyone identified? All right.
Let's see. Okay, go to.
2E. Yes.
Fifth grade, describe and trace the path of water as it cycles through the hydrosphere, geosphere, and atmosphere, i.e. water cycle, evaporation, condensation, surface runoff, groundwater flow. And of course, D is identify the different forms water can take: snow, rain, clouds, sleet, fog. New as it moves through the water. This one is very easy to model or to make a.
That's what I was suggesting for the model. Although, you know, it seemed to me that B is simpler than A in fifth grade. So I was wondering if we could switch them around.
They're gonna cover both of them the same lesson.
Yeah, but I mean, it's easy enough to just give that.
Describe and trace the path of different forms of water, or path of
No,
water.
he's saying do B before A.
Oh, okay.
Because it's a lower level
Sure.
objective standard, whatever you want to call it.
Reminding it for clarity for teachers.
Yeah.
So could we
I mean, that's as simple as J, A, B, B, to A.
Yeah.
They're gonna be both of them the same
Sure.
lesson plan anyway, but, I mean, that's easy. If you don't like that.
Well, especially if A, we were saying A might be, develop a conceptual model, then yeah, I think that should definitely come second.
Does it have to be conceptual?
Yeah.
But are we, here's what I'm afraid of. When you look at modeling in science, it's not just drawing a diagram or building something physical. It is conceptually coming up with a picture of it. So I don't know, how do we communicate that without, you know what I mean? Like, when you say conceptual, I'm like, well, it doesn't always have to be conceptual, but really it does.
Well, but I mean,
Before, it's
Maybe
the
we
other.
I
can
think
define what a model is.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
We talk about developing models quite a bit, so maybe,
I need to define what a model, in this specific case, or just models in general?
I think there is a
Because
shift
it's so
though.
wide open to, you can have, if you just leave it to model, you give the autonomy to the teacher to make a model any way they want to, and there's.
That's true, but I
there's
remember half an hour ago, somebody over here said that, you know, if we say something, like,
Right.
I'm not saying the word construct anymore.
Right.
I learned my lesson.
Right.
So, because construct sounds like we gotta make something.
Oh my gosh, sometimes you need to make something though, and so don't be afraid
But
of
they
the word. But in this case, I think it sticks to or create a model or.
The part about what I'm saying though is philosophically, the definition of modeling in science has shifted. And there is a whole realm of professional learning around that, about what is a model.
True.
And
DSS
so,
uses kind of all
exactly.
the phrases, all the connotations.
Right, so it's not anymore just drawing a diagram, it's
Okay,
that
can
big
you
picture.
give me an example of something that's new? Because I truly don't understand what could be new about, I mean, what new model or modeling can, I mean, because I really don't understand.
I think
Let's
it's
give me an
modeling a
example.
system. So like, what is develop a model for the, system of energy transfer from chemical to kinetic, like, I'm thinking the whole photosynthesis respiration cycle.
Right.
So it's not enough just to write the equations down. It's like to come up with a way to visually represent the system of how
That's a model.
plants take in. That's your definition. You've
Right.
included that in your definition. But if you were to say, develop a model to some teachers, they would think, if I just write down the equation for photosynthesis and the equation for respiration and draw backward, forward arrows, that would take care of it. And that really doesn't take care of it.
I think,
I don't think anyone would think that, I'll be honest with you. And I'm truly not trying to be obstinate about it, but I don't think anyone would think, if you said create a model,
I'm just
They would
telling
just-
you that
Oh, I
research
do.
is out there within GSS, that modeling has taken on a new philosophical
Yeah.
meaning, and not everyone gets it. And you can believe me or not. Not
I know it's
everyone
not gonna
gets it.
believe you, I just
Right.
I don't believe that when you put the word, if you say model, if you said to describe or model this, that anyone would think, okay, all I have to do is write out the process.
Oh, I see it.
I see it all the time.
Construction paper and crayons.
Right. And that's different, and I think that we have to entertain that concept, the new concept of what modeling is. And it could be a column 3 version
Right,
of
we
it.
might
We're
say
not gonna
that.
get that
Some
done.
people
Right.
when we say model, we don't mean in terms
No.
of construct a whole
Exactly.
bunch of.
I've used the word model numerous times.
And
But I
then to
think-
me, it needs to show them how to do it. When
Exactly.
you model something, you're
Exactly.
modeling it, and then they get it. and then they're
Exactly.
doing it.
But I
Exactly.
think
When
there's
you say create a
an
model,
understanding
Create
that
a
some
model
people
needs to
build,
build something in it.
create a model means a build, but if you put model, there are teachers that are gonna think diagram is sufficient. That's,
Because
they're gonna
modeling
use that
could be
synonymously.
whiteboarding. Modeling could be whiteboarding, where the kids write out all how they solve the problem and be able to talk through that with it. That's modeling as well. So it's like this new.
well, I hear what you're saying there, that's model the standard or whatever. But if you say create a model, or if you say,
That's not what we're saying though. We're saying develop a model, which could be the one I'm talking about.
Well,
The way
then
we're
say
wording
create.
it.
I
I
think
think
change the word
create
to
would be
create,
better than
so we've
develop,
got-
yes, I think create takes care of it.
create a model.
But I don't know that they
Have a lot
need
of
to
food
create a
science.
model. If they can do this new conceptual modeling of the system of a water cycle.
You're arguing both sides of it, I don't understand.
I am arguing both sides of it. It needs to be bigger than what we have to, I'm saying, I'm cautioning us.
I
We
think,
need to be careful.
Perry, to go back to your question a few minutes ago, like what's new? I think that, what she's saying is that the modeling instruction out of like Arizona State would have been the big proponents of that. And I think sort of the conceptual model would be sort of more along the lines of what they are kind of putting in. I think to answer your question too, what's new is mathematical modeling. And I don't think that's necessarily been sort of in other words, if I have data and when I fit a curve to it, I have a model. And it's a mathematical model. So there are physical models, which are scale models. There are mathematical models. There are conceptual models.
And there
And it
are
kinda goes-
physical models.
Well, that's what
Well, that's scaling, yeah.
I'm just going, I guess I'm looking at what we're working on right here.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking beyond that, so how are we gonna make this where we can have them create something that does show water traveling through the cycle? What terminology?
I'm fine if we use model. We're just gonna have to do some defining of what modeling is. 'Cause I think this
Do we
could
want
be
them to
physical.
create a model? Or
This could be a physical model, this could be a diagram model, this could be it could be, the sky's the limit. It's whatever media the
The
kid
bottom line,
wants
there's
to
no other
use.
way to do it. You
That's
can't
right.
actually do this. It's too big.
Right,
So they have to do it.
right. In some way or shape
So
or
whether
form.
it's conceptual or.
Right, so I'm
or
fine. We
scale
can
or
say develop a model.
piece
I
of
just want us
bigger.
to realize what we're saying when we say that. We're not just saying the traditional, what we think of as model.
I put in the notes here, much discussion concerning defining the word model, what modeling is, and I just, it's just a part.
So develop a model to trace the path of water as it cycles through the hydrosphere, geosphere.
And I don't think, I think it's always appropriate to next in the third column to say, by the way, a model could be all these different kinds of things. Don't feel the need to build.
Because I see it now, shoeboxes and dioramas.
Are they gonna tow my car away because I'm parked in a 3 hour?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
you'll have to go change it.
Yeah.
Or no, they won't tow it, they'll give you a ticket.
It's not the.
And there's a
Yeah,
parking
this
garage right
time-
next door,
Okay,
$6
you
a
just like
day.
not know where we were.
Absolutely. You should, I
What
would
did
go
you,
over
you get
there.
better than me, I parked in the far, far left to the far side of the Capitol.
I did that.
You did that?
Free.
I did the ones
There's
right
a parking garage
across.
right next door.
You did great. I don't mind paying for it.
$6 for the whole day.
No, I thought it was in the Capitol building.
Yeah.
So then,
Because that's
so
what
we're
the
on
address
County
is.
Day A,
So I parked at
correct?
the bottom of that hill, walking to the Capitol building, and strolled around there, which is a ghost town.
That's why I was late. And then they'd send me up this way and I went all the way to
So
the top.
the good news is, I won't be getting a ticket, and I'll be getting my cardio in today.
Well, because I sent someone that said, by the way, there's a parking garage right across the street.
I might ride in a junky truck, you can get in the truck and we'll drag you all over. You're way the honk down there. I didn't like walking up that hill just to the other building, that's us all the way to this building.
I'm pretty sure
I
like.
like $6.
Are we good with B?
Develop them on.
B is now A. I know you
Right, he's already done that.
You're awesome.
So you're good with that, and it fits everything?
I think that's,
Okay.
I like it.
Alright, so then we're, thumbs up?
Yep.
We're going good? So we're going on to,
Describe clouds.
oh, I'm sorry, I skipped the whole grade level. Go back to my grade level, only grade level, I know that there. Third grade, describe clouds and precipitation as forms of water.
Okay, here's your chance. Where do you want to go with this?
I don't remember. It's good to me. No, actually, I do all kinds of this. This is the one that
Do
I,
you want another model here?
This is not the first time
Just describe.
with this.
Do you want specific names of clouds in that?
no, because we tried that one time, and it
Okay,
does
that
not
don't
work
work.
out. I mean, I can teach my third grade, I can teach my class,
Yeah.
but I have an incredible hard time teaching other teachers how to teach that.
I gotta tell you, it doesn't persist either.
And it doesn't-
Really, it doesn't, it doesn't.
It's just memorized.
Yeah,
If I want to
memorized.
know what kind of cloud it is, I can.
Look it up on Google.
And then you gotta explain the names, where the names come from, and that's all.
Well, we take cotton balls and we make them.
Yes.
So all I like to do is take the sponge,
Yeah.
you know, you keep adding water to it, and the kids are amazed when it's water, like,
That's a good
And
one.
then,
And then-
and then starts moving out.
and until it finally does drip out, you know, and of course, the thicker the sponge, the denser the sponge and all that stuff. But we talk about, and you can compare it, it's very loose, and the science isn't obviously exact. But you can compare how a really cheap sponge and how it's real coarse, and how you can actually get a good sponge, and how dense it is, how much more water the same size sponge will absorb and stuff like that. And talk to them about the weight of a cloud, you realize that this thunderstorm, literally weighs more than a battleship. I mean, it's floating over your head, but if you weighed it, it would weigh more than a battleship. And it blows kids' mind, it blows people's mind, you're talking about, oh, boy, that's true, and it's just floating. So I don't. I
Okay,
think
so do we really need this?
Don't take my clouds away.
I'm taking your clouds away.
There's no
Well,
reason.
we already said, identify that clouds are composed of tiny,
Where's
tiny
that at?
droplets of water. That's like
That's
too
bad.
bad.
That's what I just asked.
I know,
need
because we said, it said, like, if you look at the scope and sequence sheet,
What grade level?
it's third grade.
Is it just not making the connection? Is that what it's there
Well,
for?
I can't figure out, you guys,
Identify clouds that are supposed to hang off the water.
you found it?
Yeah,
Right,
it's C.
so here, describe clouds and precipitation as forms of water. Didn't it be at like second or first grade? Identify forms of precipitation, didn't we already do that?
It's already.
I mean, this is
Yeah,
like
it's
overkill.
I think that's redundant.
It is
Is
redundant.
it okay if we take that out? Do
It's
you
actually,
think
it's
that's
already
redundant?
there.
I mean, it's already all
Third
over.
grade.
We're not touching third grade with that.
It's more material for a teacher to have to read.
Right, I mean, it's
It's
already,
one of those ones that I guarantee you, when we did our
you've
electronic
already
alignment,
done it.
they're already going together.
Right.
They're already listed together.
I think if you ever say you want to reduce, I'm always up for that.
Yeah.
All right, okay,
So
so
we're
we're
ax-
going with this.
Axe, the first movie Axe is from third grade.
You have asked a couple of them.
We have asked a couple of them.
I used to,
Oh, today.
Oh, today,
That's
it's
fine.
our first one?
like I say,
All right, folks, that takes us to fifth grade.
My car guy.
Well, the parking garage
On
is just
F.
right here.
Okay.
it's literally next door.
Right next door.
Recognize the atmosphere.
It's on this side, it's on that.
It's like $6.
Okay, she'll be less other because she's
It's just a little bit, I think it's like 5-6 hours. Which way would?
It's cheaper than.
Get 5
Even though
at
they
5.
just emailed me my ticket from February of 13. And I called them, I said, is this serious? He's like, yeah, we're about a year behind. You're more than about a year behind.
It's about 18 months. And
Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. You're also having trouble with your math skills.
maybe that's why they're behind.
You're behind and you're having trouble with your math skills.
That may be why they're behind.
Okay, so we're on to
5-2.
5A.
Recognize the atmosphere?
the scope and sequence of water cycle and weather. Identify and use appropriate tools. Identify and use appropriate tools. Thermometer, anemometer, wind, rain. Satellite images, weather maps. 2, collect weather data. Okay, probably that. B, every given day.
Well, hang on.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm thinking they can do more than this.
They will indeed.
Going down to B, identify and summarize the relationship between weather data collected over the period of time.
I don't like identify and summarize relationships.
Compare and contrast for sure.
Well,
It's
I
not compare and
I
contrast,
think
because they're collecting weather
Okay,
data for
gotcha.
their area, but they have to synthesize that data somehow. So how do we wanna say that they're
I was-
synthesizing
I was
the
thinking
data?
collect and analyze weather data and identify and describe patterns.
Describe patterns between weather data. I don't know, I don't have
Weather
it yet.
data, that's,
Weather data.
that covers everything, weather data is. that's-
Right. All of it.
That's your,
Anything.
Wait, describe patterns,
Yeah, so I
but I also want relationships.
well, that's pattern. Collect and analyze weather data and identify and describe patterns.
And interactions?
Wait, what are you doing? Are you back on A?
No.
no,
he's
he's
on
on
B.
B.
We've already collected the data.
Right, so I was,
You have established your random nature.
I know, oh my word!
Yeah,
I
he's on
keep
B.
remembering that. He's saying collect data, that's A.
that's right, and that's
He's freaking
what
me out.
that's what I'm saying.
So could we combine,
No.
combining?
Huge.
We do not combine
I'm
these
I'm not saying.
Oh, I
combine.
thought you had talking
I'm
about
not
the
saying
schools
combine,
and
but,
addressing that, gotcha.
okay, but yeah, in A, we're collecting the data.
Okay, so let's get rid
B,
of
we're
collect
analyzing.
data. So B, tell me
No,
whether
no, 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 no.
I.
Right?
I'm not getting rid of it, I'm moving on, okay? I don't wanna get rid of A.
Oh, you
I wanna
said,
move to
you
B.
said remove.
I know.
What?
No, she's not.
I wanna go to B and I wanna hear what your thoughts are
You
on
said
it.
collect and analyze.
Yeah,
I
collect
don't
and
want
analyze the data.
collect in there.
Because collect, we already did it.
You collected it up there, but down here, you're gonna analyze what you collected.
I'm asking him to leave out collect and
Because
then
it's already
tell
in
me
A.
what it is.
Analyze weather data to
So
identify and describe patterns.
analyze weather data and what?
Describe.
Identify and describe patterns.
Sounds like.
Can you read it one more time?
Yes, please, just a second.
Analyze weather data and identify and describe patterns.
And the patterns is covering your
How is that different than
relationship.
what's there?
Identify and summarize relationships between weather data.
I think the analyze brings it, makes it a little clearer to me.
But in order to summarize, you have to analyze.
Right.
So really,
True.
so should we say analyze and summarize? Analyze data and summarize?
Well,
Instead of
identify,
identifying
by
and
describing the patterns, they would essentially summarize, right? So that's, I guess, what I'm saying. Describe, the word, the phrase describe patterns, that's something.
My problem is there's too many verbs.
Uh-huh.
We need to eliminate some of the verbs and boil down to exactly what we want them to
What
do.
about analyze data and summarize?
Analyze, identify, and describe, 3 verbs.
I don't want the
No,
verbs.
too much.
What about analyze data and describe or
The
summarize the patterns?
Is any of that gonna get us away from what's already here? Identify and summarize relationships between weather data.
I think we should okay, I'm going back to A. I'm doing what he did. To collect and analyze weather data
In A.
in A. So they've collected it and they've analyzed it.
That's not what A's intended. A is use the appropriate tools,
For the
right?
tools.
Identify and use appropriate
collect
tools
weather
to
data.
collect and analyze weather data.
Well, I guess tools could be used.
They could be the Excel document, they could be,
What are you analyzing other than, I mean, because it says identify the use of appropriate tools to collect weather data. That's an idea. You're using tools to collect data.
I'm
That's
also
one
gonna
idea.
use tools to analyze data.
Right, and then the next B
It's
is
not
what you,
about analyzing.
summarizing is an analyze?
So, if we want, okay, that's fine.
I mean, I'm serious, you said that a minute ago, that it's, I will use
Summarizing
your
is
words
what
against you,
do.
but I will.
Summarize is what you do after you analyze.
Right.
At 5th grade, do we
It's
need
the
to
final,
break
it's the
that
final step.
down? Or do we need, are we okay to just say summarize?
I think it's very simple. I say it's the last step, so you have to analyze it before you can summarize it, so I think it's,
So you're wanting it the way it is?
I just think it's already there, and I listen to what everybody listens to what you're saying, and trying to get exactly what you are saying, that's what you got right
I'm
there.
trying to incorporate what he's saying.
Well, because I think that the distinction I hear in what he says is about weather patterns.
Right.
Well, and that's weather data. You're assuming that your patterns and your types of weather,
Patterns
are
and
the data.
relationships are different.
Different.
They are totally different.
Sure.
So we're either looking at patterns or we're looking at relationships or we're looking at both. Because to me, relationships is when you have a tornado, the barometric pressure does this, the precipitation does this, the temperature does this. When I have average rainfall over a year changes, that's a pattern.
Exactly.
And so that's two different things. And I'm not arguing one way or the other.
No,
I'm
but
just saying it's
that's
two
what I'm
different
saying, that's where I see you and you at on this.
Right.
But
Now,
the
5th
weather-
grade, I think it's too young to do patterns.
Does, in the way you're defining relationship, does that always imply some type of causal?
To me, it does.
To me, yes, but I would,
But
I
It's
would
that way for
encourage us to put cause and effect relationship in there somehow. Just, again, kind of back, what term did we add earlier that we were putting there to be safe? I don't remember. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yes.
You could also identify and summarize the cause and effect relationship between weather, different forms of weather data, between different forms of weather
You mean like
among data. I don't know. Yeah, I just.
Really, we want them to describe the relationships between weather data.
let me see what next.
And see, and it goes over, it says over a period of time.
Okay, I think, yeah, it is saying relationships between different kinds of weather data, because their examples are all connecting
So
to things
confused
that
about where you find
you might not know are related, until you start seeing patterns.
It's hard for me to follow this and thinking about this.
Why can't you
I'm
find
falling down on the job.
What is my question I guess to you is, what is the one thing that you want to add to this? What is the one concept that you want to add to what's already here?
I don't necessarily want to add anything. I was advocating for his concept.
So what
I
is the
was
one thing that
seeing
you're,
how it
okay, so
would
then
fit.
what's
I
the
was
one thing you're trying to
entertaining.
add? Or the two things, or what are you trying to
He
add?
wants analyze in there, I think.
Well, that's what I'm asking him.
Okay.
I guess I would,
What is it you want kids to be able to do?
Yeah, what's the end product?
What's the end game
That's the,
for the
that's the
student?
summary.
and I guess I guess just sort of seeing, well, kind of like she was saying, to me, that's sort of, I see what she's saying about relationships. I was thinking the word pattern, but, yeah, I guess that's fine.
I cannot.
So we're gonna leave A
I guess-
and B as is?
My brain's not working.
We just flipped it. Sorry.
Right. Did you
I
add,
guess-
no,
no,
you
no,
didn't
no,
put
no,
A
no,
on
no,
there.
no,
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 you didn't put
no,
these,
no,
one's
no.
the tools and one's
I'm
the.
around, that's okay.
Did you find it?
No.
Okay.
Oh, no. I thought I did.
I'm looking
My
at
page
She's
is
just
all
poking the bear while she's doing it.
Do we have a sense of how, next.
I'm looking, I'm.
That's what you're looking. They're trying, very different. They're
I went
desperate.
to middle school because I just didn't find it.
I'm not so sure that it doesn't happen more in middle school, guys.
I think it does.
I
Because it's
think
really a
that's
big
Well,
where
that's
it
what I
happens.
did, so fifth grade is in some schools, the beginning of middle school.
It's an
So it's the
introduction.
introduction, it's
to
not,
Yeah.
it's not a mastery level.
No, because at
That's why
eighth
it's
grade,
identified and summarized.
at eighth
Right,
grade, they
now when I
do-
think about it from that perspective, that starts.
Well, at eighth grade, they do the weather maps with the
Right.
cold fronts and the
That's
low
bad.
pressure and all that. That, at eighth grade is when they do that.
We do that
So
in
right
third
now, they're starting to
Well,
talk
you're an
about.
overachiever.
grade. No,
Your
It's
standards
hard,
don't
you
ask
just
you
don't
to
even
do
know
that.
But Perry, they also add a little depth to that knowledge.
Sure, well, that's it, like I said, yeah, trying to identify the cold fronts and, which we live up on a pretty big knob.
We live on a plateau.
So we're good with this?
One thing I was thinking, this might be a good engineering place, because it seems to me that making those things is pretty simple. And I do that with my physical science students.
And we construct
Construct a thermometer, construct a barometer, construct an
yeah.
air hygrometer.
now we have constructed thermometers.
Oh, no.
We do construct thermometers. I know we do, but I know that's not a, yeah, we take a test tube, slide the chart on it, and
Why
we
not?
cut the, we
I think
play
it's
with it,
worth
work.
it.
Can you give me an
I can tell you I did it with high school students and we did our own swing psychometers.
psychometer?
Yep, at high school. That's not fifth grade, that's high school.
And we did the barometer with.
Part of
the,
it is, equipment,
That's
part of
what
it is background
We did the
knowledge.
He's saying third grade, go, tell me.
I know we built thermometers, and they're fairly accurate. I mean,
Yeah.
they're kind of amazingly accurate. We just take a clump of clay, and we took a test tube, filled with colored water, put the straw down in it, and put the straw through the clay, get it sealed up real good, and you can set it in a beaker, and you can put a flashlight on, and you can watch it rise right up, and you can watch it roll back down. You can do all kinds of, and then we did the pine cone, where you're checking the moisture in the air.
Oh, like
The pine cones will actually open up as it gets more moist, and that's closed when it's drier.
That's
And you can stick a glue, all you gotta do is glue a straw to the end of your pine cone product sticking out. I mean, I'm not
I don't
saying.
doubt that you're doing
No, I'm
it,
just saying-
I'm telling you that the average fifth grade teacher is not capable.
No, I get what you're
No,
saying.
I'm
just saying
just-
that's
that's all.
just
Well, I'm just thinking it's a supply issue,
the simple
resource
thing.
issue in some ways.
Okay, so
There's
what
a
I,
knowledge issue here.
what I'm,
There's a background knowledge issue here.
Now, do you have your kids do that before they know what a traditional thermometer looks like, or after?
well, they're in college.
Right, so they've already know what a traditional thermometer looks like. Well, these fifth graders, some
May
of
not
these,
know.
this is their first experience
So
with that.
That's very
what I'm
true.
saying is,
Oh, yes, yes.
Not a thermometer, I'm
No,
not
I'm
saying
saying
a
a thermometer.
thermometer,
Say,
I'm
wait a minute.
saying.
No,
Well,
thermometer.
there is a thermometer.
There are multiple tools listed
Listen.
here.
Yeah.
This is their first experience.
what I'm saying is, you guys want me to stick in engineering?
Sure.
Right.
This is a place in the third column
Right,
that
yeah,
says, as suggestions.
Right, third
These are-
column's a great place
These are
for it.
something that you can try, and they're all on the internet.
Yep.
Make your
Yes.
own
And I
thermometer,
agree with you, those teachers who wanna do it, can do it,
Yeah.
but I don't think we add it to the standard.
Because when
That's
you
all
add
I'm
it to the standard, you're gonna be assessed on it, and that's.
Yep, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is a great place. to-
I would agree with you on that. It's a great opportunity for teachers to do that.
The only place
How
I
would you phrase that, Bob?
Construct simple versions of weather measurement equipment.
That's how Next Gen addresses it all.
Engineering suggestion,
I'm not finding it.
construct simple versions of weather measurement equipment.
What did you change it?
And just the third column.
Oh, good.
Weather collecting,
Weather measurement.
measurement.
What did I say?
And if you want to put more, then you could say which one, thermometer.
Well, I just give examples, so I said,
That's
give
what
me
I'm
an
saying.
example. Give me an example.
Barometer.
Okay, so it's 11:30. Do we want to break for lunch now, beat the crowd,
Totally, yeah.
Yes.
and then
I
get you back now?
That was pretty
You
quick.
want to break? You want to break? You're gone and back in less than 15 minutes. You did well.
Okay, for those of you who are asking about how Next Gen is,
Yes.
handling all of these things, my brain is not quite on part of it today, but I cannot find most of these things addressed anywhere except through the climate change unit. And a lot of it is in middle school. So I think if we're including this now in fifth grade, if we're more than okay. And I think, I mean, there are people that think this is the most wonderful thing in the world, but I think we have to introduce kids to what these concepts are before we start talking about human impacts on climate and that kind of thing.
What were we looking for? Because I know they have a really good search tool on the website. So what was the phrase we were trying to look up?
Well,
Weather instruments and
weather
patterns and
instruments,
relationships.
and then when we were talking about whether we should be teaching, you know, the standard should be about relationships or patterns and that kind of thing. And basically, I was finding those concepts, but not until middle school and basically, in the unit on climate change and human impacts.
Well, here's a kindergarten one under.
Yeah, and there was a kindergarten one.
Use and share observations of local weather conditions to describe patterns over time. So patterns is at the kindergarten level.
Well, you do that during your, your morning
That's
time.
a morning
That's a calendar activity. That's a calendar activity.
Yeah, they do that every day.
See the pattern on.
And we could have a large thermometer, and the kids can go read the thermometer and record the, exactly.
But the more detailed.
It's also in third grade to reveal, we'll have to reveal patterns that indicate relationships. Weather and climate scientists record patterns of, I'm just looking at the headings. Just see the word patterns and relationships. Anyway, they do. I was just looking for weather patterns. I see it multiple times.
Lunchtime, what time do you want to be back? How much rest does the brain need?
Where do we have to go to eat
Where
again?
is
We
it?
have to go back down to that cafeteria that we were.
It's 5-minute walk down there, but an 8.5-minute walk back up. So you got 15 minutes on your walk at least. Yeah. So.
Maybe an hour.
After
At
so,
least 45 minutes.
I'd say, yeah, if we try, every time you get back, a quarter after, we'll get rolling by 25 after. You do that?
We'll all be together anyway, right?
We can't collaborate. We were talking about work
That'll be your.
Oh, gosh.
They better not steal my turtle. My whole life, my thumb died.
Come on, Eric.
Yeah, thank you. There it is, putting that lid on there.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I haven't had any yet. See, I'm
So you can have that.
I think it's fresh about 2 o'clock. Yeah, stop.
I am stopping the cutting.
Well, we can